And we are back on Guess Angelo's Weight.
My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. Jacob and I are going to break down the entire UFC 298 fight card, giving you our picks, predictions, bets, and DraftKings plays. But before I do, let's look at last week. First of all, there have been 4 cards in 2024, and little baby Jake over here has crushed all 4 cards. He has been up units all 4 cards. You know what else has happened? You know what else has happened on all 4 cards? The safety parlay on all 4 cards. Jacob's underdog lock of the week. There wasn't no contest in there, but all of the other ones hit. Here's
Undefeated. We call that
a
undefeated.
Sure. Lossless. Here's a closer look
Same thing.
at the safety parlay. I've hit 10 of the last 11. I hit it at a 72% event winning percentage and a lifetime ROI of 31%. These are astronomical numbers if you're familiar with betting on MMA. It's a volatile sport to begin with. To have a single bet week in and week out that hits at this percentage and returns this kind of value is absolutely insane. And while I'm going to pitch premium here and tell you can unlock this for only $10 a month, and we're cruising at 3,000 premium members, and as much as I want to get to 4,000, I will say, while we are crushing it, and while the safety parlay is the beacon of stability, this does not say 100%. The pressure is mounting. While I'm insanely...
What a pussy, dude.
I'm a realistic human being.
What a pussy. I can't wait until I get this lock of the week until 7, 8,
I'm
9.
a pussy.
And I can't wait until the very next one that I have to make because I'm confident in all my picks and plays.
Well, the one that's on the board right now, I'm insanely confident in, and the odds are very, very good. I just, it's a lot of winning. But you can unlock the safety parlay. The UFC 298 safety parlay is up, ready to go. It's only $10 a month for every single thing that we do. That includes all the tools, like the line movement tracker. This is going to give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and line movement for every single fighter on every single fight card. This is going to give you the detailed data, metrics, and analytics, 38 columns of information that you can use to find your spots, to jump into some prop bets, avoid some bets. You're going to get the DraftKings Optimizer. This will build a DraftKings lineup for you. This will build 150 DraftKings lineups for you, and it'll be preloaded with the best DraftKings ownership projections on planet Earth. All of this and so much more, only $10 a month. That's a month, not an event. And you're going to get 4 events worth with that $10. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. And here's the address if you want to send us some mail. The last piece of mail that we got was a $900 BMF belt that Jacob and I fought for. I have the belt. It's right here, so you can make your assumptions on how that went. But here is the address if you do want to send us something.
People are talking, and people are getting a little bit loud about this. That we might have to readdress the scoring and how
Let's run it back
and how it was scored. And then I think a lot of people are asking, because I've been telling people. I know you didn't want me to tell people, but there are rounds 6 through 10 that you wouldn't let me upload. So.
Let's not forget, Jacob, I also have the raw footage, and I'm happy to include all the parts where you were asking for more time. You couldn't recover fast enough. You were too tired.
Thank you. Thank you for addressing that as well, because I did have a 100-pound weight disadvantage. I did have a 20 years MMA disadvantage. First time I've ever thrown a punch, received a punch, shot a takedown, defended a takedown, by the way, which on this last live stream you said, and you did try to pay it, and I said, you know what? The ego isn't enough for me. I did pay it. The ego is, you sent it back?
Yeah, stupid.
You sent it to me. I sent it back. You sent it back again?
Yes, I sent you $1,000. You don't even notice?
No, I didn't know you sent it back. I thought, well, he did pay it out because last time on this Tuesday stream, Angelo said, "I'll give you $1,000
Tell you what,
if you can defend."
Get out of character.
I'm still going right here because looking good, feeling good right now, Angelo. Because I was lacking 100 pounds. I was lacking all that experience, and I came in and just absolutely smoked you in a few different positions, and people are starting to see that. People are starting to realize that.
Okay. So this couple things.
Oh, the whole point about that was I have COVID. That was the whole point. And I'm sick as shit. Still sick.
Congratulations. So a couple of things. First of all, Jacob and I have been teasing that we will fight for a while, and we actually did it. On Friday, we fought. It was a lot of fun. Recorded it, edited it. That video is up. 7,000 of you have watched that video, and the comments have been overwhelmingly positive. So thank every single one of you for watching that, consuming it, and then commenting it. We appreciate. I've never seen. I mean, it's like 99.9% positive. Couple of things. There is 2 themes that I've picked up in the comment section. One theme is people are astonished that I'm not 5'6". I don't understand that. I'm 6'3", and I thought I've made it. I thought I've made it abundantly clear that I am significantly larger than Jacob, but somehow Jacob has convinced the world that I'm just a short, fat guy.
I never talk anything about your height. I talk about I don't make anything about your height. I think they see you like hop out of that chair every time you stand up. I mean, you're not standing up out of that chair. You kind of like hop out.
I think the chair, because even my neighbor was like, why does everybody think you're short? I think the theory is this is a Secret Labs chair, so it's tremendous. And it makes me look small because I'm the same size as the chair. That's got to be it. Because you guys have seen me on vlogs. So I don't know why everybody thought I was tiny. So that's one of the themes.
Well,
the other theme is
maybe it doesn't help that Tiffany's extremely tall as well. So
Tiffany
they see you
is 5'10".
So they see you next to her and they think like, oh, she's 5'4", 5'3". He is tiny.
Sure. And the other theme is they hated your pants. They hated your pants, dude. They what was that one comment that was unbelievable? I saw Jacob's pants and then I cashed in my dog ticket.
The second I saw his leggings, I've got like 6 pair of those, all different colors and stuff. I don't know what the deal is with those. People don't wear leggings. I wear leggings all the time.
People will train no-gi with leggings, but they'll be a solid color. They're not neon green camouflage. So yeah, people did not enjoy your pants.
If I wasn't going to win the fight, I was going to win the fashion award.
Sure.
I know
that. It was a lot of fun doing it. My biggest and I'm being 100% sincere. Jacob's going to pretend whatever. Watch the video. Draw your own conclusions. What I will recommend. Jacob and I made a comment in the last live stream, and I said, if Jacob could defend one single takedown, I'll give him $1,000. At one point, Jacob shot a takedown. Credit to him. He's never done anything in his life. He just grabbed the leg, shot a takedown.
Deep single.
Okay. And then he got launched. He got tossed. So after I tossed him.
By somebody 100 pounds heavier.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
After I tossed him, he, got up.
Cried a little.
I was in a front headlock position, and in the front headlock, anybody who's wrestled or done this.
Oh, you're trying to say this is not a takedown attempt.
I'll let people. I'm explaining my side. I'll let people determine themselves. In a real front headlock, you get the shoulder and the back of the neck. Your ass is in the air, and all your weight is driving down. And I said ahead of time, I'm going to try not to be heavy. I'm trying not to be a weight bully here. So I'm in that position, and I'm like, do I just hammer this dude's neck right now, bounce it off the mat? And I didn't. So I kept the weight. I touched his leg, and then I shucked his head off and stood up. Jacob's like, I defended a takedown, so I paid him $1,000. I'm a man of my word. And frankly, part of the reason I paid him $1,000.
You're not be able to see it.
Yeah, no, they can watch the video. 7,000 people watched it already. They can watch it. Part of the reason I paid him the money is this BMF belt was $1,000. Thank you, Dr. Y. He bought it. He sent it to us as a gift. And I felt bad just taking it, and Jacob didn't get anything for it. So part of the reason I sent him $1,000 is for that. You're not going to be able to let them watch it. The other takeaway is Jacob's stronger than I thought he would be. Okay. I mean, I'm being normal. You're going to be in character. That's fine.
No,
Jacob was stronger. Jacob was stronger than I thought he would be, but the instincts are just bad. Head down.
Oh, you're talking about fighting instincts?
Yeah. I'm just kidding. No, he didn't flinch. He didn't flinch. Typically, if I could box anybody who's never boxed. I didn't flinch
and I didn't swing like
you didn't
wild either.
You didn't. Well, actually, the most success you had is when you just came forward going like this. It wasn't like unathletic crazy. I'm saying the most success you had is when you just came forward. But
I got wobbled too. I was off balance already. I had my feet crossed. I switched to southpaw for a second, and that was not a good idea.
You caught an uppercut on your way in.
That was not a good idea.
But anyway, it was a lot of fun.
Angel's like, oh shit, look at all this space.
Well, one of the funniest things, and I didn't even notice I did this, is you said while you were editing it, Jacob landed like a good overhand right at one point. You said the next shot I threw was just like real stiff.
Oh, right down the fucking pipe. And you even, what did you say?
I was like, oh, you okay?
You're like, oh, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, dude, it's fine. But you threw that thing. Because, my head was just right there the whole time. And you were just touching it. And you threw like a right hand. It just split my guard. And whoop, you can hear it on the fucking kid. You're like, oh, my God, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm good.
So, anyway, it was a ton of fun. A lot of fun to film. And the positive vibes coming from you people has been absolutely amazing. So, check that video out. It's free here on YouTube. Ready to go. Jacob, I'll leave it here. Before we break down this card, we had a couple super chats too. Hold on. Think about what you got to say, and I'm going to post super chats. Joey Todoro. Everyone smash the like button, become a member today, like right now. Also, what's next for the BMF Heavyweight Championship? $5 from Joey T. What I will say is, what's funny about doing it, I'm going to take this off the screen, but thank you, Joe. What is funny about doing this is, a couple people in the Discord now think that they are tough. People watch that. They see me just taking it easy on Jacob. And I think we can agree I took it easy, right? Like, I'm not being a dick about it. I didn't throw anything with more than 25% effort. And, I could beat you up. So it's an open invitation. And this is not an open invitation to the 20,000 people that watch this video, because some of you can definitely kick my ass. But certainly the nerds in the Discord. It's the same thing I told that dude Fifth. I was like, if you can make it to Texas and you can beat me, I will reimburse you for all of your travel and put $1,000 on top. But, I'm going to need to vet you first, because that cannot be an open invitation to the world. So when he says what's next for the BMF, that is what happens. Everybody's like, I could. So we'll see. And then Uber Night, €1.99. Let's not inflate Angelo's ego too much. Yeah, I was definitely the benefactor of some positivity in the comment section. A lot of people like, whoa, Angelo can wrestle? Whoa, he's got hands.
And everyone
he's not short. Whoa. Is that a Pringles can for a cup? Whoa, does he need a bicycle helmet to keep all of that controlled down there? The comments were wild.
There was a few that were like, wow, Angelo's not fat. And I'm like, what video are you guys watching?
$1.99 from a Morims. I'm assuming this is a Morims boyfriend in the Discord. Thank you so much for the $1.99. All right, Jakey Bombalotes. I'm moving on. You got anything to say before we break down this card?
I'm sure everyone's wondering why I'm dressed.
I am
dressed to the nines here. I got the heart behind me. As you should hopefully know, Angelo, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And Angelo, you know that I love. So I just want to look official here for Valentine's Day. Wish all the couples out there a happy Valentine's Day. And I thought, you know what? I got to do something special for Amanda for Valentine's Day, right? I got to do something special for Valentine's Day. It's a big day, man. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to sing a song. But Angela, as you know, a little under the weather. That's been done before. So then I thought, you know what? Let me go buy her some flowers, put it on the stream. That way she knows that somebody got her flowers for Valentine's Day. And then I thought, you know what? How can I take it another step further, Angelo? How can I take it another? So I said, you know what? I'm going to make her some flowers. I'm going to make her some flowers. I'm going to sit down with cardboard and all these cutouts and aluminum foil. And I'm going to make this beautiful, this beautiful bouquet of flowers, Angelo. And I promise to you and to Amanda in the chat, I had grand plans. I had grand plans for this full bouquet I was going to show, and she was going to love it and be so proud. And you got to promise me, chat, and you gotta promise you're not gonna laugh what I'm about to show you. But Amanda, I made you flowers. Oh God, I made you flowers for Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day. And this is what I came up with. So I promise, I sat there and tried my best. I tried to make like
What is that? Is that tin foil and some sticks?
It's a bouquet of flowers. I even tried to use wrapping paper to make it real special. I tried to make little tulips. Look, there's little, you can see the little leaves on here. And that's supposed to be a rose. So Amanda, I'm sorry. I really did try, but happy Valentine's Day either way. And hopefully it's a good one. I literally tried so hard, dude. Look at this thing.
I think she'll appreciate the effort, Jake. And that's really what matters. It's easy. It's hard to make them. It's easy to buy them. So good luck to you. Couple more super chats. This is the best comment I have seen all day, though. You look like you're selling salvation.
You see the name, too. Jacob Love, baby.
Amorim's another $1.99.
Talking shit.
I don't care. Fly to Dallas. This is the easiest thing. I mean, it's an open invitation. So easy. Thank you very much for the $1.99. Just give it directly to Fifth so he can book his flight. And then we have $8.99 for Bet Slam with Sam. If that was your first time throwing punches, then that wasn't as bad as I've seen from beginners. Was fun to see, but Angelo, this is what I'm talking about. Everybody's got, make your way to Dallas, holler at your boy, and we'll run it down. Also, this is the alcoholic that calls in on Thursdays. So I'm sure I'll be just fine. And I agree. Jacob, for a dude who's never thrown a punch in his entire life, I mean,
anyone that can look
way
at that,
better than most.
Anybody that can look at that normally and objectively and understand that was literally the first time I've ever thrown a punch at somebody. The first time I've ever been hit before. The first time I've ever shot a takedown or even tried to defend a takedown or done anything in my life. So if you look at that objectively, I think you're like, oh, okay. I can definitely see he's a fucking athlete. I mean, look at the way the guy's built. Somebody said he has Evloev back when I was hungry.
Yeah, let's relax. And then we do have to move on here, but is that a clip-on tie or did you tie a tie?
Get the fuck out of here, Angelo. I don't want to be.
Let's see it.
Lift the collar. I don't need that disrespect in my life. You know the funny thing about this shirt is like a couple years old. This shirt's a couple years old. I'm telling you, this neck is tight. I mean, I can't. I don't know if I'm gonna wear this the whole stream. I didn't do that from the beginning, but no, it's not. Look, I tie my own ties.
Oh, there you go. How do you know how to tie a tie? Did you go to Catholic school?
I mean, everyone knows how to tie a tie.
That's how I had to learn how to tie a tie. Church. All right, let's go ahead.
It's just one of those Midwestern. I think so. One time my dad talked to me. He's like, "I got 5 minutes. I got 5 minutes. You better fucking pick this up quick. Loop it through, stick it through, and pull it. You got to fucking take."
I wear a tie so infrequently, I do have to watch a YouTube video every time.
Really?
I can do it, but I have to watch every time because I just forget.
I mean, because at one point I knew ties around my neck 3 times a week. Three times a week, I got this thing tied up.
I don't think most people are getting that. Let's go ahead and break this down. First up at UFC 298, we have Andrea Lee taking on Miranda Maverick. We got Andrea Lee, 13-8 overall, 2-3 in her last 5. She is riding a 3-fight skid. She's taking on Miranda Maverick. Miranda Maverick, 12-5 overall, 3-2 in her last 5, and she's coming off the short notice win over Priscilla Cachoeira. This is actually a pretty good fight. This is a better fight than you would normally get on opening up a card.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay. Andrea Lee, solid striker. Very dynamic striker. She will do the basics very, very well. You're not going to get a bunch of spinning out of her, but what you will get is toughness. You're going to get some good range control and some solid accuracy on her strike. She's very tough. She has some improved grappling as well. She's averaging about 2 takedowns per fight. She took down Macy Barber 5 times in that close loss before. Takedown defense can use a little bit of work. It's basically at 54%, but her striking is clean, and she can beat most people in this division with just pure, straight striking. She is coming off the one-sided loss to Natalia Silva, but every week that goes by, that loss gets more and more respectable. She's taking on Miranda Maverick. Not only does Miranda Maverick sell incredible pickles, I ate them on a Fight Foods vlog. I have them still. They last a couple months.
Oh my god! I literally was like looking forward to trying those pickles. I can't believe we got sidetracked pretty fast, didn't we?
Yeah. I don't know what you're implying, but yes, I do have some pickles left. They are delicious. Check her out at prowlerpickles.com.
I'm in a little bit better mood than last week.
Well, you were sick last week.
I'm still sick, but I'm telling you, I found this new stuff called Afrin.
All right, I gotta break this down. We'll explain that after. Miranda Maverick is a grappler. She's a pressure fighter, got solid takedowns, good activity. She's very strong. She would use that strength well. She's averaging about 2 takedowns herself as well, but if she cannot get takedowns, she can struggle a bit. She does have a good positive striking differential of about 4-3, but her goal is always walk forward, crowd, get the takedowns, and then work for a submission. She is coming off the submission over Priscilla Cachoeira, where she did step up on short notice. I'm going to go Miranda Maverick here. I think Miranda wins this fight. I think the pressure and the takedowns are going to be the difference. And we know that even if things are not going Miranda's way, she'll continue to move forward. We saw that in the Jasmine fight. Like, she's not going to quit on herself. She'll continue to come forward. But I will caution you here. I do think this line is a little bit wide. And it hasn't moved much. but I think it's wide. Minus 172, I get it, especially if you just look at, Andrea Lee lost 3 in a row. It is not that simple. Look at the 3 people that Andrea Lee just lost to. Those are very good quality losses. And then if you go through the rest of their resumes, Andrea Lee has fought the better slate of fighters, and that's not Miranda's fault. They give her a contract, she signs it, and she fights who they give her. But Andrea Lee has had a tougher road, and it's reflected in her record. So I don't think you could just look at her record and be like, she's not as good as Miranda. Miranda wins. Miranda should win. I think she wins, but I think there's better spots on this card because all of a sudden, Andrea Lee, who is the better striker, if she defends a bunch of takedowns, keeps this on her feet, she's tall, she's long, she's rangy. This could be a weird decision, and we've seen both of them in some weird decisions, actually both of them with Macy Barber. But that's my breakdown. What do you think, Jakey Bombelotes?
I agree and disagree. I agree with your prediction. I kind of disagree with where they're at right now, especially in this fight. I like Miranda in this fight. I really like her in this fight for the reasons of that. Yes, Andrea Lee is the better striker. I don't think she's like the more like dynamic striker. I think she's definitely the more technical striker. But as far as like being dynamic, being dangerous on the feet, I don't think she really has anything really to offer. She's a lot of 1s and 2s, a lot of basic stuff, and she does it very well. But she's not super dangerous on the feet, which bodes very well for Miranda because Miranda obviously needs to close the distance to get to the takedowns. And even if she can't get the takedowns against Andrea Lee, I honestly think with just her pressure and the way that she strikes and the way that she moves forward, I think that would be enough to win the decision. But she does, thankfully, have the wrestling, have the takedowns, and I believe that she can take Andrea Lee down. You saw Macy do that. You've seen other people be able to take Andrea Lee down. Typically, she's pretty good at getting back to her feet, right? Macy took her down. She popped right back to her feet. There was, like, no control. But if there's one thing that Miranda does best, it is that top control, right? Her control is probably better than her takedowns. But I think she can definitely pressure Andrea Lee enough to get into those clinch positions or shoot those takedowns, be successful with a couple of them, and that's really all she's going to need to win a couple rounds and win this decision. So I'm actually pretty high on Miranda. I fully respect Andrea Lee's toughness. It probably goes to a decision. But I think Miranda can do enough on the feet and get a takedown too in the control.
Yeah, so we're on the same side. I guess maybe I'm giving Andrea Lee a little more credit than you are here. But we are on the same side. I think the over 2.5 is the safest bet here. The takedown line, we might get lucky with like Miranda 2 takedown line. I think she'll get at least 3. I think she gets at least 1 per round. At least. If not more than that. So if
and
we
the
get
other one that you might be able to get is like a half a takedown for Andrea Lee. They might set it, I bet they set it at 1, but if it's a half, I would play the over because I could see her definitely re-shooting. And what do they say sometimes, right? Wrestle the wrestler.
Yeah, 100%. It's much easier.
I came in, shot that single.
But 100%, it is easier to finish a takedown than it is to defend one. We're on the same page here. I don't think I'm going to spend the $8,900 in DraftKings, though. Now, if Miranda gets the wrestling going and it's just nonstop takedown and control, she can get past that number. But I think Andrea, if she is taken down, will end up spending a good amount of time down there. So we're not going to get the repeat takedowns on spam in every round. And I think Andrea is going to stay on the outside for a little while. It might take a minute to get the takedown. You think she's worth $8,900 in DraftKings?
Probably not, because I don't see there's a lot of once you get up to like 9,000, you got to have that finish upside, and I don't think there's a real finish upside. So she's going to need to get 5, 6, 7 takedowns, and as you said, if she gets 1, she probably is going to keep control. So
yeah, so we're both on the same page.
Are you annoyed? Here. Are you annoyed at something?
No, I'm reading. I was looking something up. So this dude, I lost the comment already. Oh, here we go. This guy commented saying, "Fun fact. Costa has never lost a fight with a crowd." And I said, Adesanya beat him with a crowd. And now he's insisting that's not the case. So I was literally Googling pictures, and there are pictures of the crowd. So there was a crowd in that fight. So that's where the distraction came from. I cannot do 2 things at once. But what you can do is unlock every pick, bet, round line lean, the safety parlay, and everything else that we do for only $10 a month. And let me remind you, Jacob has been up units every single card this year. The collective We Want Picks has been up units every single card this year. I was down on one card, but the safety parlay has hit
it did the
every
thing.
single card.
I was like, what the hell? It did the thing right over my face. I didn't know
Apple?
Yeah. Woo!
We've been killing it. We've been absolutely crushing this year as far as picks, bets, and everything else is concerned. So unlock them. It's only $2.50 an event. $2.50 an event. $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Couple of super chatterooskies. You guys are very generous today. $1.99 from Joey T. An idea. Ultimate Fighter style winner gets Angelo. So we just run a tournament of the Discord basement boys.
I'm from the Northeast tournament.
Thank you, Joey. $1.99 from
Thank
Gucci.
You, Joey.
$1.99 from Gucci. He's just listing some other random Discord basement boy and setting some odds. Thank you, Gucci.
Thank you, Gucci.
$5 from Napster. Here's the start for Fifth's plane ticket to fight Angelo. Give him the money. I want to make sure he has zero excuses. What's going to happen to him is the same thing that happened to Jacob. Just started saying stuff.
The issue with him is it gets expensive when you have to buy 2 seats on a plane, Angelo.
He is a large human being. And the dude smokes like 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I don't know what he thinks he's going to do. Yeah. Fat jokes are great when they're not at my expense.
You did get, there was a lot of comments that were like, man, he's not as fat as I thought.
Because you have created this illusion that cut me out of my house
fat. Your face has created that illusion, Angelo. It's not me. It's your face, man.
Anyway, I'm dad bod
screams 5'3", 280.
The height thing made no sense to me. It has literally been a theme here for years that I am significantly taller than you. So I don't know where the height thing came from, where people were positive I was short. I don't care.
Just so you know, too, Angelo is not 6 feet. He's much taller than 6 feet as well. So don't look at that thinking he's 6 foot tall, and then I'm fucking 5'6", okay? You put me in heels, and me and Angelo are eye to eye. And he's 6'3".
You need a little more than he's
6'3".
Anyway, that was a bizarre plot line. Because I told you, even my neighbor was like, "Why did everybody in the comments so surprised that you're not short?" I think it's the chair. I really think it's the chair.
And it's weird too because you don't hear that really in the comments or live chat.
They were just holding it to themselves.
Everyone just thought that internally. They just assumed like, oh, he's just a short fat dude.
It might be my attitude, so they just assume
I'm the bagel guy.
Yeah, exactly.
The angry bagel guy.
Oh, Jesus, Mary. Let's go ahead and break down the next fight.
It's gonna take forever.
It is next up at UFC 298. We have Oban Elliott taking on Val Woodburn. Oban Elliott, 9-2 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He is riding a 5-fight win streak into his UFC debut. He's taking on Val Woodburn, 7-1 in his career, 4-1 in his last 5. That one loss is a short notice step up knockout by Bo Nickel. This is another interesting fight. This line is widening, and I get it, right? If you only know Val Woodburn from his last fight, then he was knocked out by a wrestler. I get it. But the reality is Val Woodburn is a powerful striker. He did step up on short notice. He was knocked out by Bo Nickel. But if you remove that from the equation, you remove the fact that this guy stepped up on like 2 days' notice, fought on a pay-per-view main card. Like there's a lot working against him there. He is a short, jacked powerhouse of a person. He obviously has insane power in his hands, but he does have some solid cage control. He's got some good takedown defense, and he has surprising cardio for a guy built like him as well. He's wildly dangerous. He pretty much has a solid chin, which sounds bizarre considering his last fight, but he does have a solid chin. And in his defense, Bo Nickel, again, was crazy short notice, and technically speaking, according to the statistics, and if you watch the fight, it was kind of a half-assed attempt, but Val Woodburn did defend a takedown attempt. And he's taking on Oban Elliott. UFC debut, Oban Elliott. This guy's a well-rounded guy. He has 15 full minutes of cardio. Plenty of tools in his bag. When he's striking, he wants to dance around, hang on the outside, and then he will just fire off overhands and rush in. He's fast. He's athletic. He's got some flashy spins. Decent takedown defense. If he is taken down, though, he'll work right back to his feet. And then he's not going to chase submissions that aren't there. He's going to work to his feet, try to get it to the ground himself, and then he's just going to hang out and control. He has a couple of takedowns, but nothing wild sort of in his background. And they're typically from the clinch. He'll work a clinch, he'll trip, he'll push, he'll drag. Overall, pretty well-rounded guy. Not amazing anywhere, but he can grind. And this is a pretty straightforward breakdown. I've got a couple of win inside the distance decision, no action bets on this card. You can unlock those. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. This was one that I was considering because the reality is I do think Val Woodburn is a lot tougher than people give him credit for. Oban Elliott's not the most dangerous guy in the world. He's the better fighter here. He's the more well-rounded guy. He has more ways to win, but he's not dangerous. He's just loaded with decisions, even though he only has 11 fights. Val's got enough power and danger to end this fight on his end, and he is typically durable. So I do think this fight is a surprising decision type fight. And if it's not a decision, I think it's Val Woodburn that gets it done. I am going to pick Oban because it's hard for me to pick a guy who only has one way to win. So I am going to lean towards the guy who has multiple ways to win. But if we didn't learn our lesson over the last couple of weeks, some of these UFC debuts are just not it. Even last week, there was, 3 UFC debuts or 4 of them, and only one looked pretty good. The rest, by the skin of their teeth, were getting things done. So Oban Elliott, minus 310. I think he's literally the second biggest favorite on the card. I don't think he's worth that money. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I was reading that super chat. What in the world is going on? What in the world is going on there?
I'll post it after.
Yeah, I know. Listen, yeah, Oban Elliott is probably the better fighter here, and I think he has shown that he is tough, right? But what do we say? To show that you are tough shows that you have to show some toughness, which means you're probably getting hit, you're probably getting hurt. And that guy does eat some right hands. He eats some right hands, and Val Woodburn can throw some fucking heat. So at minus 310, I agree, this seems crazy. If anything, it seems like the KO value is probably there, and Val already being a big underdog, could, as you mentioned, he could find a way to win a weird decision at this as well, because he is tough, and Oban isn't, a dangerous guy, as you mentioned as well. So I'm going to Oban Elliott here because he is the more well-rounded fighter. He's shown that he can take a shot, right? So even if Val lands, it's not necessarily going to be, KO. And he said before, and I'm pretty sure this was him, he said, I think before his contender series fight, he's like, you'll have to take me out on a box or whatever. like he's that type of guy, right? I'm willing to die in there. And he might need some of that toughness, but I think he can pull through. I'm going Oban Elliott on this, but I'm not putting him in a parlay. I'm not, anything like that. So actually, a small one. I was like, actually, I do, but it's a very small one with another favorite that is like, could lose a decision or something. So I had to think about my bets.
I hear you. I more well-rounded guy, more ways to win. It's that simple. Tough guy, as you mentioned, but I don't trust UFC debuts anymore. I was very anti-contender series fade last year. I thought that was like a stupid narrative. But then after the first couple of cards this year, they have not looked good at all. Robert Burchek, what a bum. That dude that knocked out Trevin Giles, Carlos Prates, straight up bum until he landed one good punch. I'm done. Zach Reese. Actually, Zach Reese, no, bum. I'm done with these contender series guys in their debut fight. Whoever invented the contender series fade, I'm with it. I think it makes sense. We are on the same page here, but we are not equal levels of confidence in this.
What was your confidence?
I think low. Well, let me check. I have it on my sheet right here.
I think I might have put mine at medium. I think as I was talking, I think you're the one that fucked me up, honestly, because I do have him in a parlay. Go to WeWantPicks.com, become a premium member, see what that is. But yeah, I think I was more confident. And I was listening to you, and I was like, oh yeah. I mean, you're enthralling sometimes.
Quite the salesman. Minus 260 to minus 310. Too rich for my blood, but $9,300 in DraftKings. You're going to spend that? He's going to have to win by finish, and Val is tough.
No.
And then he's not going to be grappling. He's not going to be able to take Val down.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be worth that money either. But what is worth the money is premium membership. It's only $10 a month. You're going to get far more for the $10 with our premium membership than you will with 5 other services combined. That is a straight up objective fact. And if you don't believe me, just ask in the comment section. We have over 3,000 very happy customers.
Who's a premium member right now? Let us know.
A whole bunch of them. So WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. You'll unlock everything you will ever need for not only this card, but then the 3 cards after this one as well. Couple of super chatterooskies. You guys are unbelievably generous today. Maybe Jacob and I have to fight more often. Here's a $10 super chat. Let me give some context if I can. Doesn't Max show up to your live streams, make bad bets, and then disappear so you call him names? Isn't that what happens?
He did one time, yeah. But he had a valid excuse, I think, if I remember. I think he was watching on delay or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, he did say bets, and we were like, where's Max? Where's that stupid fucking idiot Max?
Well, he donated $10. He said, I saw the fight. GJ Angelo? What does that mean? Oh, good job, Angelo. Well, why is the G capital and the J isn't? Good job, Angelo. Not bad. Good job, Angelo. There's no punctuation. The capitals.
Have you never read before? Guys, saw the fight video. Good job, Angelo. Jacob, not bad, but don't ever call me a bitch unless you're sparring me. All I want to hear is crickets.
All I WZNT to hear is crickets. No punctuation. 3 random capital letters. Thank you, Max. Genuinely appreciated. Then we have a 349 from the alcoholic. He says, reminder, Val is not 6'2". I mean, correct. Oh, shit. I didn't update this slide. Damn it.
Fuck.
He's 5'8". Oh, man. I remade so many graphics, and I didn't swap them all out, did I?
Oh, my God. Strikes absorbed per minute. My gracious.
Well, that's because it's per minute. They extrapolate it out.
Yeah, I get it. I know how math works.
That fight didn't go. Okay.
I was a business major.
He gets how math works. And then another $10 from Jiffy. Tax returns are coming, so the community is giving back to the channel so Jacob's dreams of relocating to the favelas can become a reality.
Favelas? What the fuck?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's what those $10 are going to... I mean, we got to bump those up 20, 50, 100. Otherwise, it might be the favelas. You know what's funny is on the... you probably don't watch the Embeddeds because you don't really give a fuck about, building relationships with these fighters. You're about X's and O's. But Ian Gary was on the Embedded, and I guess he just lives in Brazil now. He's been training at Shoot a Box with Charles and all those, and I think the Limas are going to be in his corner. They're his coaches now. But anyway, he was talking about being in Brazil and the Brazilian people and how he just loves Brazil and he's going to live there forever. And I was like, oh my God, he's living my dream, man. He's got the Brazilian wife living in Brazil. He speaks Portuguese now. He's hanging out with Charles Oliveira. It's like, Jesus.
That is your life. We have $1.99 from Junior Ranks. I agree. UFC debuts have been pathetic recently. Yeah, they scared me away for sure. Thank you so much for that. Tito P, I'm a premium member. Give me a shout out. Saul Degen, premium is definitely worth it. All right, we got to keep moving here. $1 from Kane Stockdale. No comment.
Udo.
What?
Is it Udo?
Oh. Thank you very much. Genuinely appreciate it. $14.99 from Harpreet Singh. The best in the game. Jakey boy loved the picks this year. Fire. Jakey has been
honestly,
on
that
fire.
Says Jackie boy, which is a little, you sent the $14.99, so I'll let it slide. But don't, Mr. Singh, don't let it fucking happen again. You know what I mean? But yeah, we've been killing it. Yeah. I would be very hard pressed to find somebody. I mean, to start the year with 4 straight cards, being up money, all 4 cards. I think with these cards, that's a tough ask, and I've done it for all 4. So
I literally
and hopefully people, and I think you have realized, but I think hopefully people have realized too that I've buckled in. I've tightened up. I've tightened up the bets. I've been trying to be laser focused on this shit with the lock of the week this year and the bets. I want to do some fucking monster things this year. Become a premium member, $10 a month.
Quinn
with the $9.99.
Quint says he loves us. Well, we love you, Quint. Quint is a mod in the Discord and very generous in the live stream, so thank you very much, Quinty boy.
He's a mod in the stream, too.
Happy birthday. Okay, we're moving on.
This is going to take... No. $1.99 from Uber Night. Ian Gary has the name of his wife's ex-husband. I would do the same. I mean, I would do the same.
I don't get it.
Well, Machado is her name, but it's not her name. It's her... Whatever. So.
Is that official? Because he didn't change his Instagram or anything. All that is still at Ian Gary.
Well, I know this because I am verified that there's some issues a lot of times when you change your name. You lose your verification. You got to get it back. So it's just easier just to leave it. So
thank you very much. Uber Night.
You fucking peasants wouldn't understand verification.
Next up, at UFC 298, we have Josh Quinlan taking on Danny Barlow. Josh Quinlan, 6-1 overall, 3-1 in his last 5 years, coming off the first loss of his career. He's taking on Danny Barlow, 7-0, undefeated in his career with 5 stoppages in 7 total fights. Josh Quinlan's a dangerous guy, very good striker, very real power. He's got 2 wins in the UFC. He knocked out both of those opponents. You're going to see only 1 win. The other one was flipped to a no contest because he did fail a little bit of a drug test after that fight. He's not just a striker, though. He's got a BJJ brown belt. He's actively competing. He got upgraded to black?
It's on the gram.
Well, that's new since his last fight. Congratulations on the black belt. He's actively competing in grappling competitions. Very dangerous guy, but he is coming off the first loss of his career, and it was a decision. It was a pretty straightforward loss to Trey where he couldn't really fully hit a rhythm and get his hands going. Statistically, he landed half the strikes. Taking on Danny Barlow. This guy's a long-rangey striker with some very real power. He wants to work at range, but then he will enter the pocket with some lead uppercuts and hooks, similar to how I did with Jacob. Even though he's got a bunch of early finishes, he does take his time and he waits for the appropriate shots. He's composed and he's not going to chase with power. He's got powerful kicks as well and is all around a dangerous guy. He doesn't like getting pressure. When he does, he tends to just shell up and then just shoot a desperate takedown. On the ground, he's got some good BJJ himself. Overall, solid prospect who should be fun to watch. Both these guys are dangerous. They're both well-rounded. Pretty good matchup to measure just different contender series prospects. I do think Quinlan is getting a little disrespected here with this line. Minus 158, minus 183 for Danny Barlow. Plus 158, minus 183 for Danny Barlow. Almost a 2-1 favorite. I think it's a little bit disrespectful because Josh Quinlan has some very real power. And I can see why people are confident in Danny. He's good. I'm not taking anything away from him. But Quinlan's got some real power. Quinlan can strike. We just watched Josh be able to not get his hands going. So I'm going to lean a little bit away from him here. But Danny Barlow is going to be my insanely cautious pick. And I think this line should be a pick 'em. I think this should be minus 110, minus 110. Two young striking prospects. One of them hasn't even officially fought in the UFC yet. The other one got his first loss, might come out looking better than ever. Danny Barlow's the pick. Not touching this fight at all. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I will say that I fully respect the dangers that Danny possesses, right? I mean, there is no question that he can put Josh's lights out. He can put anybody in this division's lights out. He's just one of those guys. Left hand to God is his nickname, and he fires that thing, and he is accurate with that thing, and he is powerful with that thing, especially early in fights. The reason I say early in fights is that's really kind of all he's got, right? He throws some kicks in there. He's got some nice kicks, but you can tell that left hand is what he wants to throw, and it is what he wants to knock you out with. And in the beginning, he's nice and balanced with it, and he fires it in there. And if we're 2 minutes into this fight and he connects that left hand on Josh, he's probably going to knock Josh out. But if you watch as first rounds go on, he gets a little bit more lungy and a little bit more desperate, a little bit more sloppy with that left hand. And when I say that he only really has that left hand is, he can do other stuff, right? He can throw a decent jab, but when he starts throwing combinations, when he's in the pocket, when people get in the pocket and he has to throw combinations, he's no longer this big knockout guy. He's just kind of another guy, right? I mean, he can do it, right? I mean, he's not bad at it, but he doesn't really possess that same straight line left-hand power. But in the pocket, that's really where Josh shines, right? He likes to throw kind of a boom-boom combination with that left hook and really connect. So if they come crashing together, I think Josh is going to be the better of the two. I also believe that Josh is going to be able to mix in a little bit of the wrestling. You saw versus Trey Waters, the length of Trey Waters really gave him an issue, but Trey was really pumping that jab. Danny Barlow doesn't really have a jab. In fact, he'll even switch orthodox to throw a left hand as a jab because he's normally, or he'll switch southpaw, whatever it is, to throw his left hand as a jab instead of the cross. But he really doesn't have that jab to keep Josh at distance. And you saw Josh try to mix in some takedowns versus Trey. Trey's very tall. He couldn't get the takedowns. I think he can mix in a couple takedowns, really work in some grappling. But if this extends past 2-3 minutes of the first round, I don't think Danny's going to have that knockout shot anymore. And I think Josh can win this fight either by finish, maybe in like a second, third round, because Danny didn't really have that experience and Josh is a tough dude, or he can win by a decision. So I am actually weirdly high on Josh Quinlan in this fight. But I understand. Hey, Danny could knock him out.
Yeah, Danny's got a ton of power and super dangerous guy. And like I said, we just watched Josh lose a fight where he couldn't really get his hands going. So, and one of his fights was overturned from USADA. He did come back after that and then win his next fight. If his last fight, or if his last win was the one overturned, then you could just credit all of it to what was going on in his body. But then he went out there and earned another win without issue. So
he's a dog too, man. I mean, he's a fucking dog.
No, 100%. I'm on the Danny Barlow side because literally based off of Josh's last performance, and he doesn't have enough fights to be like, well, his entire body of work. But I totally get being on Josh Quinlan's side, and I think these odds should be absolutely even. They're definitely too wide. And if we're playing DraftKings, Josh Quinlan's not a terrible underdog at $7,500. Who is that for? I know it's not for me.
Get Back Gang says garbage breakdown. Take it to you. I'll deliver this for V-Day. You know where this is going, buddy.
That might be his thing, man. You might be doing him a favor. If you want to unlock all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, and more, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10 a month. You're going to get this event and 4 others, including UFC Mexico City, which is in 2 weeks or whatever. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. We got a couple more super chats from the insanely generous live stream. We got $10 from Lucky Tim. He said he just got off the phone with Fifth. I wouldn't take this fight if I were you either. He was on the phone and I could hear him salivating like a rabid dog. That's because he was
fucking hungry.
Yeah,
it's late and
that was food related, and I'm sure he quenched that thirst with a long Virginia Slim in the cold Canadian garage.
You never ripped on a Virginia Slim?
No. Uber night.
I love cigarettes.
Another $1.99. I don't know who you're calling a peasant, Jacob. He did spell your wrong. You're Angelo, no apostrophes, son. So, and then people did genuinely start asking in the super chat if we were related. Just to clear that up, Jacob's bright red, loaded with freckles. We look nothing alike. So, no, we're not related.
You know what? I didn't see one comment, which really is very weird, is in that video, nobody was like, oh my God, Jacob isn't a ginger. Which doesn't make any sense to me because it's very clear that I am not a ginger. So.
No mystery there. Yeah. I think they were just so shocked. Next up at UFC 298, we have Mingyang Zhang taking on Brendson Ribeiro. Mingyang Zhang is...
He battle.
16-6 overall, 5-0 in his last 5. He is riding a 9-fight win streak. He's taking on Brendson Ribeiro, 15-5 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's riding a 3-fight win streak into his UFC debut. I'll tell you right now, while the records seem pretty similar right here on this slide, I think they are very different if you start digging in and looking at the opponents. Mingyang Zhang did work his way all the way through the road to the UFC tournament, and he's got plenty of finishes. If you don't know what that tournament is, it's an Asia-Pac tournament. Bunch of up-and-coming guys, they fight each other, and then they end up in the UFC. It's pretty cool. And I don't know how many years they've been doing it, but last year was a big deal, and now it is again. That's where Rinya Nakamura came from, and we'll break him down in a few minutes. But Mingyang is a dangerous guy. What is this?
Well, you were alluding to his competition. That's one of the better guys that he fought.
What's the record? It's hard to see.
Well, you don't need to see the record to see what I'm showing you right here. I mean, that's just...
Age NA? What are you showing?
How about the way the guy fucking looks, this fluffy heavyweight?
It's
Angelo,
blurry.
Pay attention.
It's blurry. Anyway.
And that's one of the best guys he fought.
I mean, we're on the same page, and this is how you treat me? Anyway.
I'm going to smack you.
You had your opportunity, and you absolutely blew it. And anybody who doesn't believe can go watch the video and make their own assumptions. Mingyang is dangerous, at least according to his record. Mostly ground and pound kind of guy. And, of course, we have seen that. We've seen some raw power striking. We've seen him drag people to the ground and then get it done. He quickly closes the distance, and he's going to give you some fantastic pressure. He does have an excellent record. He does have a 100% finish rate, and it is split almost evenly between knockouts and submissions. But even with the knockouts, 90% of these finishes are on the ground. He can be sloppy on his feet, but he is tough, and he will continue to move forward. He's taking on Brendson Ribeiro. This guy's an offensive striker with solid grappling. I emphasized the word offensive because he does get hit. He is very hittable. His takedowns are mediocre, but if a fight does end up on the ground, he is very aggressive, and he hunts for submissions. He's dangerous both on top if he gets a takedown or off his back if he is taken down. And while Ribeiro has a pretty well-rounded offense and can win a fight anywhere, he does have a quit button, unfortunately, and he can be finished. He's coming off that underdog knockout win on the Contender Series to earn this shot. Zhang decent favorite here. He was minus 140 the other day. Came down a little bit to minus 121. I think people did a little bit of their own research, and they're starting to see the record here. And I get it. I get why he would be the favorite. He probably should be the favorite. He's got decent power. He can grapple. Ribeiro has been finished in 4 of his 5 losses. But I am going the dog here. I like Ribeiro to get it done. I think his offense is the more dangerous of the two. I think Zhang has that hollow record. And I think the only way Zhang's going to win this fight is if he can crowd and then drag him to the ground. And I'm thinking Ribeiro should be good enough on the ground to work in some jiu-jitsu, work his way up, and get his way out of there. So I am going to go Ribeiro here. This is going to be an exciting fight, but this is also going to be a sloppy disaster. Neither one of these guys are incredible, but I do think Brendson Ribeiro is probably the better fighter here, and Zhang is just the reaping the benefits of fighting a lot more regional talent. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Well, you reap what you sow.
Okay. So you are selling deliverance or salvation.
Deliverance.
Go ahead. It's your
turn. What are you doing for Valentine's Day?
What is happening?
I can't ask you what I can't ask you what you're doing for Valentine's Day.
Oh, Tiff and I are going to the new hibachi place. We got a babysitter.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Brendson, I don't want to say Brendson Henderson. Brendson, I believe is
Benson Henderson would beat Mingyang Zhang. By the way, if this was small ass Benson Henderson, he would beat him.
Toothpick and all.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
You know the toothpick thing?
I do know the toothpick thing. If you guys don't know, if you're newer here, Benson Henderson, former UFC lightweight champion of the world, and he won the belt and has fought every single fight he has ever been in with a toothpick in his mouth. It's absolutely incredible. He didn't just send that through his tongue, dude.
I lost to contact within 3 minutes of my first combat experience. So, but you know who also likes Ribeiro in this fight is your boy Fifth. He is very high on Ribeiro, and he says this is because he's kind of
historically pretty ass at picking these things. So that's not good.
But this is what he says. He has been really bad lately, but he says that Ribeiro is the next DDP. And what that means is, yeah, he's very, very sloppy, but he is tough as hell. He can eat a shot, and he has crazy,
dude, he's been
power.
Finished 4 times.
I've been finished 4 times. And then Phantom made a good point, too, that I'll share, is it looks like when he throws punches, he has dumbbells in his hands, right? They're slow punches, but also when he lands punches, it also seems like he has dumbbells in his hands because he has power. That's a great line from Phantom, and I totally agree. And I think that's gonna be the difference in this fight. Listen, Zhang is probably the more technical striker. He is probably gonna be the guy coming forward. But if you watch Ribeiro, one of his best shots is almost like, and this is a stupid comparison, but it kind of is that step off right hand that Sean O'Malley likes to throw. And obviously Sean O'Malley is boom, nice and tight, and he kind of throws it from up here, and he's coming all the way down here. But if he lands it, he can't put this guy Zhang out. So I'm going Ribeiro because I believe that he has the power advantage, and I think he might be able to eat a shot a little bit better than Zhang. But this is going to be a fun fight. I think it's over pretty quickly. Them boys are going to go after it, and I'm going to take Ribeiro in what should be a slugfest.
I hear you. So we're on the same page here. I'm surprised by that. A couple of dogs on the same side.
Oh, I love.
Oh, that's why we're on the same page so that he can brag about it on the internet for a little bit of attention from women. I get it. $7,800 in DraftKings. If I'm building a cash lineup, so actually one of the number one questions we get every week. This video probably this week will do 15, 20,000 views, and we will inevitably get a bunch of questions. What are those DraftKings numbers? Those are for DraftKings Fantasy. If you don't know what DraftKings Fantasy is, you get a budget. $50,000. Is it 50? No, I'm forgetting. You get a budget.
It's like when you dude that moment in high school when you're walking up to your locker and you overthink your locker code and you're like, also you just freeze. You're like, oh my God, I have no idea how to get my locker. And then you're sitting there like, oh God, you got 3 minutes to your next class. You just run it with your books and you start crying. And then you spend the next period in the bathroom just crying and you want to call your mom, but the cell phones aren't invented yet. So you go to the nurse and you fake being sick so you can call your mom, and your mom picks you up and takes you to Burger King. And then you spend the rest of the day playing Pokemon. Okay.
You get a budget of $50,000 and you have to draft 6 fighters. Every single fighter has a salary associated with them. and then you take that lineup and you compete with other people. It's basically fantasy football, except for MMA. It is insanely fun. You should absolutely do it. You can do it for free. You can do 25-cent entries. You can do giant entries. It is so fun, but that's what these numbers are. That's why we talk about these numbers on here. If I'm building a lineup, while I think Brendson Ribeiro can be worth it at $7,800, if I am building a safe lineup where I'm just trying to make a little bit of money, I'm not going to put him in there because the downside is he's going to get finished and put up no points. The upside is that he's going to put 100 plus points on the board. Up, huh? Yeah, 100 plus points on the board and only be $7,800. So depending on the lineup you're building, I think Ribeiro could potentially be worth that money. Speaking of DraftKings Fantasy, not only do we have an optimizer, which will build you DraftKings Fantasy lineups, we also have a cheat sheet that gives you all the numbers and the projections and everything you can need to build said lineup. And we break down every fighter by salary. We break down fighter by tournament type. So much content on there, whether it's betting, DraftKings, FanDuel, Prize Picks, Underdog, everything you could ever imagine. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member, only $10 a month. We have a couple of chats here very quickly. Hold on. Let me find it. Everybody relax.
It's Pokemon. You don't watch Pokemon, right?
No, of course not. 20 DKKs. Not sure what those are, but thank you very much. He said Askar Morozov knocked out the Chinese gentleman. He has 6 losses. Thank you very much.
That's a Danish crown.
There you go. Thank you very much.
They could be used in Denmark, Greenland, or the Faroe Islands.
I thought there was another one in here. I guess not. Let's go ahead and move on. Somebody asked, and I don't see the comment anymore. Here we go. Crazy Nation said, Angelo, your wife good? She not cool with the violence? You know what's so funny about that? He's getting that from the end of the fight video. Tiff and I went out to dinner, and she was very, just dry, that's my man.
And then you got home.
Well, what's funny about that is...
And I gave you the best night of your life.
Yeah, okay.
Well, not me directly, but because sure. I allowed you to bloody my nose.
What's funny about that is yesterday, Big Bo from the vlogs...
By the way, monster pussy... Because
What?
You and him have talked about grappling and doing all this stuff for years. This dude's fucking 7 foot tall, 300 pounds, and has never, right? You guys have never grappled.
He's not 300 pounds, but yeah, he is
6'8", all of 6'7",
and in phenomenal shape.
And he has not stepped up to the plate. You've offered, right? Let's go to the yard. Let's whatever. Has not stepped up to the plate. Me, no problem, no questions asked. Went in there, handled my business.
Anyway, his wife, I sent him the video, and I guess his wife watched it, and she texted Tiffany saying, that's my man, and then a skull emoji and laughing because Tiffany said it's so dry. And Tiffany was watching. She's like, oh, I can't believe you used this. I'm like, because you're realizing what a bitch you come off as? She's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. Now you know what I live with, Tiff. But she was just being playful in the moment.
Every time I come over, we're downstairs and we have, the kids are there and she's there in the kitchen and stuff. And then I walk upstairs. What's the first thing I always ask you is, what's with her tone?
What's her problem?
Yeah, what's with her tone? You guys, what's going on here? He's like, Jesus.
Tiff, if you're watching this, Jacob is joking. He's 100% joking.
What's with the
that's
gonna
be
tone?
That's gonna be the theme now. All right, let's move on before I get in trouble.
Look at this guy. That looks like Wolverine.
Speaking of road to the UFC tournament winners, we have Rinya Nakamura taking on Carlos Vera. Rinya Nakamura, undefeated, 8-0 in his career. He does have 6 stoppages. He's taking on Carlos Vera, 11-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5. He is making his second attempt at a UFC debut. I'm going to keep this short.
What a fucking idiot.
Okay, this guy.
Shit, man. What a fucking idiot you are, man.
I'm the idiot. Let's look at how we're dressed, and I'm the idiot.
Fucking idiot, dude. Happy V-Day.
Rinya Nakamura is that guy. He's got good, powerful striking, phenomenal wrestling. He competed at an international level. He's not just a guy that started wrestling during MMA. He was a wrestler, competed all over the world, and then started MMA. Obviously, he uses those wrestling skills, added jiu-jitsu, and he's submitting people. He's landing big power on his feet, and he's coming off of the very lopsided win over Fernie Garcia, and that was his second official UFC win. He's taking on Carlos Vera. This guy's short. He's thick. He is athletic, though. He moves pretty well. Loose striking, and he's got constant movement, ton of kicks. He's well-rounded enough to strike, well-rounded enough to wrestle and grapple. His takedowns and hips are not great, though. So when he shoots takedowns, he actually can somehow end up in worse position. He's got aggressive BJJ off his back, though. He'll roll for anything that he can find, and he will be dangerous. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to finish my side of this. On his feet, though, he's going to wing punches. He's going to throw creatively. He's got some decent power on the ground. He'll chill in guard and then hunt for stuff. Rinya Nakamura is minus 1,000. He should be minus 1,000, at least based off of his past performances. Don't bet on this fight. It's not worth it. There's a bunch of you that are going to build 8-leg parlays and then add Rinya Nakamura at the end. It's not worth the extra $1 or $2 of profit. At the end of the day, this is still a fist fight, and anything could happen. Minus 1,000 is long gone. Leave it alone, but Rinya should dominate this fight. What? What are you waving? What the hell do you want?
Where the fuck is Carlos's ear?
That's my Photoshop. My Photoshop skills removed his ear. For a split
second, I was like, "Oh my god!"
Just Mike Tyson-esque.
Jesus Christ!
And that's my limited Photoshop skills.
So distracting. The bottom line here is Rinya should win this fight. He should win this fight with the wrestling and the top control. The second bottom line is, and we have to recognize this: Carlo Vera is out of the 50-50 Ryan Hall camp, right? And those
and
guys
he fights like that nerd too.
And those guys are all extremely dangerous. And I'm saying right now, Rinya better be on his P's and Q's shooting these takedowns, because Carlos Vera is going to be ready with any guillotine or front choke or any scramble in these positions, and he's going to be more than qualified to sweep and do something weird on the ground on his back. You saw in Rinya's last fight, hey, Fernie almost got his ass. Fernie had him in a little bit of a guillotine, and if Fernie's getting to that guillotine, I believe Carlos can get to that guillotine as well. By the way, Fernie, what a great guy, man. He reached out to me on Twitter, replied to my tweet, and said that I'm his favorite person. I love Fernie, dude. He's a fucking dog, man. But
he is. He almost knocked that dude out.
Dude, he was down and out, threw a left hand, and I lost my fucking mind. And then he got taken down, swept the guy, he took the back of the guy. It was fucking insane. But Rinya should win this fight, right? He's the better fighter. He's the prospect. He is the guy that he should be. Much weirder things have happened than Carlos finding Rinya's neck in a weird takedown. So I'm going Rinya here, but I agree. It's not worth it.
The odds are, if he was minus 400, parlay away. Minus 1,000, the return on that investment is just not worth it. And these are fist fights, and anything can happen. But you're going to be hard-pressed to find somebody outside of the Vera family that's going to pick Carlos to win this fight, and it makes sense. Rinya is that guy. And he's $9,600 in DraftKings, not $8,600. And I do believe he's going to be worth that $9,600. I think there'll be some takedowns, potential finish, and he's going to cruise past the 100 score. And if there's
maybe
he didn't finish. Hold on, he didn't finish Fernie, and he cruised past that number. So even if he doesn't finish Carlos, he'll cruise past that number.
Fernie's a fucking tough dude to finish.
No, I get it. I'm saying finish, no finish. He's
here's where I worry too is Carlos, if he gets taken down, he's not going to try to get up. He doesn't give a fuck about getting back to his feet.
Yeah,
so I think it could be
submissions.
Yeah, I think it could be one takedown around, complete control, right? And the whole time Rinya, because if you're trying to posture up and land strikes, that's when these jiu-jitsu guys they work their sweeps and stuff. So it could be a lot of just holding on to Carlos and keeping maybe a half guard or a side controlled position, and that doesn't really score a lot. So this is kind of be careful.
People are saying Carlos is Cheeto's brother. He is not Chito Vera's brother.
I think it's a joke, Angelo.
I don't know if it's a joke.
He's best friends with Ryan Hall, okay, guys? And if Ryan Hall's in the corner...
And he fights just like him. Just like him. Anyway, Rinya Nakamura is going to get this done. Rinya Nakamura is worth the money in DraftKings Fantasy, not worth the money in real bets, just because those odds are long gone, and you can get much better odds than some other solid plays. And if you want to unlock all the bets that we got going on right now, none of them have Rinya Nakamura in them. Go to WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's only $10 a month.
I I have bets on Carlos.
Well, there you go. $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. You know what I just found out? That
oh God, is it back? Damn it!
That
I knew you were waiting for that phone call. Damn it! I knew you were waiting for that phone call, Angelo. I'm so sorry.
The like you got me all out of whack now.
Oh God, it's back.
What is his name? What the fuck?
Jesus Christ. Fuck, man. God.
That Henry Cejudo didn't fire his coach. That was fake. That was a prank.
Cool. Nice one, Henry. Good one.
It was a weird prank. Or he did it, and then he was like, "This people are."
Henry fought for that for weeks. Oh God, it'd be fucking awesome. Oh.
Marab's response to that was incredible.
I know Merab is actually fucking hilarious with his kids.
He is. No, he is. He is good. Him and Newsman there. What the hell's? Damn. The 185-pound dude that went down to 170.
Chimaev.
Nah, it's gonna take me forever.
Kevin Holland.
Nope. Joaquin Buckley. He's also really good on social media as well.
Yar. Get buck, yar. Nice titties. Which
Next
one?
up,
Now you're thinking, which one am I talking about? I think we know.
Justin's looks like soft.
Supple.
Yeah. Next up, at UFC 298, we have Marcos Rogerio de Lima taking on Justin Puffy Tafa. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, 21-9 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off that wild flying knee knockout loss to Derek Lewis. Taking on Justin Tafa, 7-3 overall, 3-1-1 in his last 5, coming off that knockout win over Austin Lane. This could be an interesting fight. We got Marcos Rogerio Lima. This guy's a little older, but he's a big, powerful heavyweight. He has got decent striking, decent grappling, decent wrestling. Not the fastest guy in the division, not the most athletic guy in the division, but he can land heavy, he can get takedowns, and he can work BJJ. He's sort of a grinder, right? He's going to come forward, work you against the cage, try to drag you to the ground with muscle, slow the pace down because, again, he's not very fast. He is coming off the fast knockout loss, though, to Derek Lewis, where Derek just ran across that cage and flew in the air with a knee. He's taking on Justin Tafa. This guy's a heavyweight striker.
Tafa, man, you got to stop. It drives me insane.
Big Bauer and a fantastic... That drives you insane? You're sitting
I don't know
here,
why, but yeah.
Looks like a Mormon in a South Park with your stupid hat and your dumbass skits, and I drive you nuts because I say Tafa. Fucking idiot.
Dude, tomorrow's the day of love, man. It's
well, it's not today, is it?
Hey, throw it up. Throw it up. Throw it up.
Justin,
come on.
Tafa.
Oh, it does it on the screen.
That's
damn it. Why didn't I know this sooner? Fuck. Maybe we can edit it in. Hold on, let's edit it in.
I'm not editing anything.
I'll edit this. I'll edit this in post. I'll edit it in post. So here, I'll edit this post. Okay. So here's your flowers, Amanda. I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day.
Justin Tafa is a heavyweight striker with big power and a fantastic chin. When he gets his kicks going, he's got good kicks as well. 0 takedowns in the UFC offensively. He has also given up 0 takedowns in the UFC. If you take your time, you pot shot him, you could have some success. That's what Jared Vandera did. But if you can't, and you can't avoid that power, you're going to have some big problems. Marcos Rogerio is the favorite here, should be the favorite. He is the more well-rounded fighter. He's the more skilled fighter of the two. But if he can't get Justin to the ground, I don't think he's going to pot shot his way around. Jared Vandera is actually pretty fast for a heavyweight, and he's got some good footwork. That's how he was able to stay on the outside.
Do you say that just because people said that you look like Vandera? Is that the only reason you're saying that?
No, he's actually...
Vandera is actually a top heavyweight.
I mean, handsome, for sure. The Ben Affleck of the heavyweight
I can't
division.
believe people say I look like Malarkey.
Well, you even said while you were editing that video, you're like, damn, I fight like Malarkey too. Anyway.
I would never.
Point being... For Marcos Rogerio de Lima to win this fight, he's going to need to close that distance immediately and drag Justin to the ground, or stay all the way in the outside and just jab and move, jab and move. in all likelihood, he's going to close the distance, try to drag Justin down. Justin has legs like this. I don't think he is easily taken. Actually, I know he's not easily taken down. I don't think he'll be taken down in this fight. I'm going to pick Justin to win. I think Justin wins this fight. With that being said, I'm not going to bet on Justin. Plus 120 is not worth the money because he is fighting somebody that's a much better fighter, and I'm not a big fan of betting for a knockout. Because then you can bet Justin by knockout, but you're not going to get much better odds on that because that's the only way he wins.
I think it's plus 125.
Yeah.
It literally is like not worth it at all.
It's the only way that he's going to win. I do think the bet that makes sense, which is minus 110, I believe, is Justin inside the distance decision, no action. I have not pulled the trigger yet because I do worry if he gets taken down, what does he do? But we've never seen him taken down, so I just don't know. But I am going to pick Justin here. I think that knockout was really bad. I think Marcos is going to be afraid to strike for a prolonged period of time, which means he's going to come in, try to get close, try to get it to the cage, and he's going to eat some big shots while doing that. Justin Tafa is the pick. If I do end up placing a bet, it will be the inside the distance decision, no action. Keep an eye out for that. If you're a premium member, make sure your Discord is linked. If you're not, become one. It's freaking $10 a month. WeWantPicks.com. What do you think, Jakey Bombalotes?
Yeah. I mean, he's got to get the takedown, right? Because if he doesn't get the takedown eventually, because they are heavyweights, they will crash in. They will get in these wild exchanges right up against the fence. I mean, I'm sure Tafa will be back against the fence. Marcos will be heavy leg kick and then crash in, and that'll eventually happen. The issue is, and if you ask the Tafas, they know, right? Everyone just wants to take them down. So if you listen to them in the way that they train, it's like basically all they train is takedown defense because they already got the striking. They've already got the heavy hands. They know what they're doing. So it sounds like all they do is work on takedown defense. They've already shown pretty good takedown defense, him and his brother. And Marcos de Lima, I don't really love his takedowns. So if I'm looking at this as Marcos de Lima can't really get the takedowns, eventually they're going to crash in. I think I trust Justin's speed and power. I think he can beat him to the punch in those positions, and that's kind of as simple as that is. I mean, heavyweights are pretty much come at you at face value, right? You can't really get too in-depth with heavyweights. I think Justin Tafa is the faster striker. Obviously can put anybody's lights out, and I think if they get in those exchanges, he will be faster to the shot than Marcos, and I believe he can do that. So I'm actually, it's weird to say, but I'm actually kind of high on Justin Tafa to get this done, but, you know, they're heavyweights, so...
Yeah, they're heavyweights, and one of them's 38, and normally that's alarming. But heavyweights can last a little longer. Their careers can go a little farther out. We do have this comment here.
Are you saying that you could start? You're thinking about starting yours?
I could be the Randy Couture. Shoujo said Justin isn't Derek Lewis. I agree. He's a better striker than Derek. Derek Lewis is not a skilled technical striker. He's the most powerful striker the UFC has ever seen. But he's not a skilled technical striker. Justin Tafa is a skilled technical striker. So, yeah. Does he have that exact same power as Derek Lewis? No, nobody does. Not even Czech Congo. Not even Francis Ngannou. Not even Alistair Overeem. But he's a better striker than Derek Lewis is. Is he going to flying knee? No, of course not. But I think he'll blast the stomach. I think he'll blast the head. And I think he'll have some success here. So does Jakey Boy. $7,700 in DraftKings. You're going to spend that money on JT.
I think so. Ooh, JT. Ooh, a little. Yeah, ooh, is this a sign? Is this a sign? He is a dog, isn't he?
The lock of the week. There it is. Okay. Don't be weird. Okay.
I turned into a dog on V-Day.
There you go. Crayons Nation's got it all figured out. I guess you'll find out. Something about your hands and knees, and I just tuned out and moved on. Next up, at UFC 298, we have a very interesting fight here. And the reason this is interesting is we have Amanda Lemos, just fought for a title, was a surging prospect, and just got beat worse than anybody's ever been beat and not finished in a title fight. Taking on Mackenzie Dern. Surging prospect, but keeps losing fights she shouldn't be losing. So I think the UFC is like, what do we do here? What are we supposed to do with Mackenzie Dern? What do we do with Amanda Lemos? Well, let's have them fight each other and see what happens. We got Amanda Lemos, 13-3 overall. She is 3-2 in her last 5. And as I mentioned, coming off an absolute beating from Weili Zhang in her first title shot. She's taking on Mackenzie Dern, 13-4 overall, 2-3 in her last 5, coming off the TKO loss to Jessica Andrade. This isn't, I'll say clash of styles. It's not really clash of styles because Amanda Lemos is pretty well-rounded. She's a Muay Thai striker, fast hands, a ton of power. She does a really good job keeping her fights at that Muay Thai range to avoid takedowns. But she also has very good BJJ if it ends up on the ground. She's coming off that absolute, Weili beat the piss out of her. Before the Weili fight, she had 81% takedown defense. Her takedown defense looked incredible. Weili ragdolled her, took her down whenever she wanted to, and now it's at 55%. The reason I pointed that out is Amanda Lemos's takedown defense is better than what her record says, and Weili just destroyed that. Similar, if you look at Calvin Kattar's striking statistics, you have to exclude the, what's his name fight?
Max Holloway?
Max Holloway fight, because the numbers just destroyed it.
Okay.
I'm saying like you just...
Yeah, I was not paying attention. All of a sudden I heard Calvin Kattar and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? I'm a little bit...
Weili destroyed Amanda Lemos's statistics that you're going to see on the next slide here, so you do need to sort of remove that fight from the equation. She's taking on Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern, as we all know, phenomenal jiu-jitsu. Probably the best jiu-jitsu in the division. Potentially the best jiu-jitsu in all of the UFC. Very decorated, very good. She's also insanely tough. But as Jacob always says, that just means she takes a beating. And the reason she takes a beating is because her striking is okay. It's not great. It's just okay. But her takedowns are absolute dog shit trash. 14% takedown accuracy. I'm not going to rant and rave. I already did that in my quick picks video about how horrific her takedown accuracy is, how ridiculous the fake accent is. But Mackenzie Dern, to her credit, is very tough, is unbelievable at jiu-jitsu, and can beat anybody on any day because of those two things. The only thing that is preventing me from going all in on Amanda Lemos here is the fact that Mackenzie Dern did outstrike Angela Hill. And I get it. Angela Hill is not the best striker in the division, but Angela Hill is a very competent striker who has been around for a very long time. And Mackenzie Dern outstruck her that whole fight. And if all of a sudden that Mackenzie Dern with solid 1-2s and good pressure is here and avoids the big Amanda power, we could have an upset. But the Mackenzie Dern that was just absolutely blasted by Jessica Andrade, the Mackenzie Dern that has a 14% takedown accuracy, I just don't see how she's going to win the fight. If she can't get Amanda down, there's a 0% chance she wins a striking fight. And she could climb Amanda, submit her the same way that she did Tisha Torres. But I just don't see that happening. Amanda Lemos is going to be the pick. Minus 132, honestly, seems like pretty good odds considering the only way Mackenzie wins this fight is to get it to the ground, which 86% of the time she can't do. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Oh, you did that quick math, huh?
I've been
a little hesitation there, but
it was a dramatic pause, but I was doing the math. It very, I'll tell you a quick story. I grew up in Massachusetts, and I got a job. I was like a janitor.
All of a sudden,
I was a janitor.
Mid-breakdown, we're allowed to tell stories. This is very interesting.
Well, it goes to the math thing. Like I was a janitor.
It's your story, so
I was a janitor at a college for a little while. And I was just mopping the floors, doing my thing. All right, go ahead. Do your breakdown. This kid's the fucking worst.
Oh, shit.
Nobody's even going to get it. I'm curious. Let me know in the chat
what a loser.
If you get
fucking a loser. Goodwill Hunting. Good Angelo Hunting.
You got it. All right, go ahead. Who do you think wins this fight?
Listen, you mentioned the striking of Mackenzie Dern, and I think it's an important part to bring up that they mentioned in the last broadcast in that Jessica Andrade fight was she got rid of her striking coach, which was a really good striking coach. It's Jason something. I can't remember what his name was.
Perillo?
Yeah. So got rid of him and then came into that Andrade fight. And I think when they went to Dean Thomas, his hit, they go to him like in the middle of the fight or whatever, his hit was like, whoever was in Mackenzie's team that told her to get rid of Jason needs to be fucking fired, basically, because the amount of digression she had. Because I sat here and said she's going to fucking destroy Andrade because her striking is so precise. She is tough as shit. And I think she can work in eventually the takedowns, but I thought she could hold her own in the striking versus Andrade. Came in and embarrassed herself. Looked like a shell of what she was. And if she still is with that same team on a short notice fight, she's not going to make any improvements from here and then. You know, if you look at her Instagram, you know where half her training videos are? They're at LA fucking Fitness. She's just at LA Fitness. Yeah, she's just at look at her. Look at anybody that goes to LA Fitness knows that some of her training videos working out. She's and good. I mean, save some money. You know, she says she's got money issues. It's only like $25 a month. I go, but it's at LA Fitness. I mean, it's just a weird dynamic. She's got this new guy and stuff, and you know, maybe it's a little bit of jealousy on my part, but you know, it just seems like she's not all in as she was. She's with this like hodgepodge team, but she likes the people and they're not mean to her, so she's like just kind of, I'll show up, and she is tough as shit. You know, if there's ever a scramble or anything, she's going to be live, but I don't think she can get the takedowns. I don't think that she's obviously going to win the striking. I think Lemos could be able to put her the fuck out because she has as good a head movement as me in my defense. So, and Lemos hits way harder than you. So I'm going with Amanda Lemos in this, and I actually agree with kind of the opening odds, you know, minus 250, something like that. I think she can really roll in this matchup, honestly. I mean, she got beat the shit beat out of her, but that was to the champ. I mean, Amanda Lemos
100%
fought the champ. I mean, Weili's going to do that to most of the girls in the division, and, you know, I think this is going to be a tough one for Mackenzie.
The only thing I do worry about a little bit, and the only thing that, first of all, the odds are, it's crazy what odds will do to your brain. Because Jacob and I have said this many times. We do our notes, we do our breakdowns, we do our picks before we know the odds. Then we go check the odds to say, oh, well, let me see where I can find some bets. I would have assumed Amanda Lemos would have been a much larger favorite. And if she was a much larger favorite, I'd be more confident in her. And it's crazy how that happens. You see the odds, and you're like, ooh, what am I missing? Minus 132. This collapsed. Minus 270 made sense.
It's
minus
just
132.
Mackenzie's got a fat fucking ass, and people just love to bet it.
Well, so that did worry me a little bit. The one thing that actually worries me from putting 2-3 units on Amanda Lemos here is the fact that sometimes we have seen people get absolutely manhandled, destroyed the way Amanda did, and they don't ever look the same again. And that was the worst beating anybody's taken. It literally could have taken the ambition out of her.
You know, the first person that comes to mind, and actually I think she has a fight coming up, and every time I'm like, she's still in the UFC, is Cynthia
Calvillo. Yeah.
Calvillo. She got the shit beat ever by Andrade, and was, because she used to be the tough bully girl.
Yeah.
Like the aggressive, the whatever, and like she never was the same.
100%. Never the same. And that could happen to Amanda. I don't think so. But
Amanda's kind of a bad bitch.
Well, and
you know what's funny too?
Mackenzie Dern was just knocked out too. So who's to say that couldn't happen on that side?
Right.
But Amanda wasn't knocked out. She was beat down and had zero success whatsoever.
She had that front jaw that
it looked good for 5 seconds, and then that was it. But go ahead.
Or ninja choke or whatever it was. But it's funny. I put a parlay, and I called it the Brazilian parlay, and only like one person caught on. But I said, who messes up this Brazilian parlay? And obviously it's Brendson Ribeiro, it's Rogerio de Lima, it's Paulo Costa, and then I threw Ian Gary on there for fun, right? Not a Brazilian, but it's a Brazilian parlay. Yeah. And then in this matchup, I put Mackenzie instead of Amanda Lemos. I thought it was pretty funny. But no, everyone's like, just treats it like a normal parlay. I'm like, you fucking nobody's on my.
You know what's so funny? In my quick picks video, I did my normal Mackenzie's accent is fake. You can, and this isn't an opinion. There's a whole YouTube video dedicated. It's called The Evolution of Mackenzie Dern's Accent. And I don't think it's fake in that she sat down and practiced a fake accent. Her father is Brazilian. I think what's happened is over the years, she spends more time and leans into it. Like you move to the Valley, you start talking like a Valley girl, right? But
how do Valley girls talk?
She's from Rhode Island. She grew up in Arizona. Like her mom is American white.
Oh my God.
So what's funny is I was like going in on the accent, telling people, go watch the video. It's called The Evolution of Mackenzie Dern's Accent. And there's videos of her at 16, like, hi, I'm Mackenzie, like totally normal. And then clips to her.
I am Mackenzie. I love jiu-jitsu.
Dude had a translator in the UFC. Had a translator. But somebody commented, where I'm going with this is somebody commented on that, on my video saying, Angelo, Mackenzie's from Brazil. It's like, no, She isn't. She's from Rhode Island. Like, no, she's not from Brazil. She's as Brazilian as I am Italian. A parent that's an immigrant. Actually, I'm more Italian. Both of my parents are immigrants.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. Well, that's where the culture comes from. And
how many languages does your father know?
My dad only knows 2, Italian and English. My mom speaks 3. She added Spanish.
Oh.
Yeah.
You think we could set up some lessons? What she said?
If you want to become a premium member, go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10 a month. You will unlock everything you have ever needed to have some success, have some fun watching these fights. I do have a bet on this fight, and you can unlock that now. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. At the top, only $2.50 an event. I think we did the math. 3.3 cents a day, 30 cents a day, whatever the hell it was.
My picks combined for the last 4 cards, which I've been up units all 4 cards, is. I don't have the same abilities as you.
You didn't. So
$1.48 is what it would have cost you. 37 cents a card, I think, is what it figures out with everything involved and all the people involved. My picks that had been up units the last 4 cards cost you $1.48 for a month. That's crazy. Fucking honestly, that's a.
We don't give you that option. The option we do give you though is $10 a month or $100 for the year. So save yourself freaking 20%.
I think we need to raise the price.
I mean, I never will, but
I think we need to make it $1,000 a month.
Well, it also includes the safety parlay, and the safety parlay has been a wild success. I've hit 10 of the last 11. It hits at a 72% win percentage, a 31% lifetime ROI. I am on an 8-event safety parlay win streak.
How many Danish krones do you think it takes to make $1?
30.
That's lower.
10.
That's lower.
4.
It's higher.
Okay, we're done. You can unlock the safety parlay, the picks, the bets, round leans, and everything else. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. And if you're looking for a little extra cash, if you weren't as lucky as we were these last couple of events and you took a little bit of a bath, we'll send you $50. Just go to this exact URL. Use the link to sign up with one of the partners. Make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you. It's affiliate marketing. They're going to pay us. I'm going to slice off some of that money and give it right back to you.
Me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Do you have a favorite commercial for the Super Bowl?
I had already seen it. I don't remember one other than I had already seen it.
Christopher Walken?
No, the one for Paramount Plus was solid.
With Hey Arnold? Where he's
that was a good. That was a good commercial.
I only saw like half of that one, but I thought that was a good one. Wasn't there like controversy behind that one? I thought there was like some controversy or something behind that one. The Christopher Walken,
Jamaica.
The Christopher Walken I had seen beforehand, which I wish I wouldn't have because I would have really enjoyed that one. The Reese's one, where they're like just slamming their head into the walls and shit like that. The back and forth of like that. I thought that was pretty funny. And there was one more I can't remember, but yeah.
You know what's funny?
Obviously, the Jesus ad.
Okay, let's go. What Jesus ad?
One of the first. There was actually there was a Scientology ad too, which was like, "Come experience." It literally was like, and hey. No disrespect to Scientology. You know, I think you should be open about anything. But I'm just describing the ad here. Was basically like, do you have questions? Come find out for yourself. And it's like, I bet so. Huh? It's like, come on. It's like our doors are always open. It literally was a Super Bowl ad.
Unless you're a reporter, that HBO documentary was.
It literally was a Super Bowl ad. I was like, shit, man. This sounds fun, huh?
They got the money. All right, let's go ahead. Opening up the main card of UFC 298, we have Anthony Fluffy Hernandez taking on Roman Kopylov. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez is 11-2 overall. He is 4-1 in his last 5, and he is on a 4-fight win streak. He's taking on Roman Kopylov. Roman Kopylov is 12-2 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he is on his own 4-fight win streak. This is a clash of the styles. Anthony Hernandez, a grappler. Roman Kopylov, a striker. Anthony Hernandez is a very good grappler. He averages almost 7 takedowns per fight. Solid wrestling entries. He is a high-level BJJ black belt. And although he is willing to strike, that is not going to be his path to victory in most fights. He is riding a 4-fight win streak. The most recent was a TKO ground and pound win over Edmund Shabazian. What I will highlight here that I always like to highlight is 7 takedowns per fight average means he can't hold you down. If he could hold you down, he would average 3 per fight. Averaging 7 means people stood up on him 6 times. He's taking on Roman Kopylov. Very, very good kickboxer, has a professional kickboxing background. He's going to pick his shots well, and then he's going to settle in and weave together really nice combinations. He started his UFC career with 2 losses. And in both of those losses, he was taken down. He had no answer for the ground. Just had no answer for what was happening on the ground. But since then, he strung together 4 knockouts in a row, and he reminded everybody that there are levels to striking. He now has a 92% takedown defense, and he is going to need it in this fight, but he is coming off that knockout win over Josh Freem back in September. This should be a really fun fight. It's going to set one of these guys up for a ranked opponent. They're both on nice win streaks. They both have plenty of finishes. They're both really tough. They're both willing to take a beating. They're both going to stick to a game plan. Definitely a clash of styles. Anthony Hernandez is going to need to crowd and get takedowns almost immediately. Roman's obviously going to try to keep this on his feet at all costs or make Anthony pay every time he works in an entry. I am on the Roman Kopylov side. I am surprised to see this line continuing to widen. I think Roman Kopylov has proven that he is insanely dangerous. I think he's proven that he can knock you out with his hands or his feet, that he can stand up. He's got a great, not only initial takedown defense, but if he is taken down, he's got great get-up game. Anthony has shown that he can't hold people down. You don't average 7 takedowns per fight holding people down. So I'm on the Roman Kopylov side. I get that he's an underdog, especially after what just happened last weekend when we had a high-level grappler versus high-level striker. Didn't go. I mean, the striker had no success in that fight at all. I don't think this will look like that. Roman's got very good takedown defense, great get-up game. I like Roman Kopylov to win this fight. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, this is kind of, you kind of mentioned it and alluded to it, but this is almost like the rubber match between grapplers and strikers, right? We had Imavov versus Roman, and Imavov got the best of that. Roman couldn't really get the grappling going. And then we coming last week, you mentioned it, we had Adolfo. Yeah, and Armin. And here we go again with the experienced high-level kickboxer in Roman, and who wants to be the grappler in Anthony Hernandez and Fluffy Hernandez. So this comes down to, can Fluffy get the takedowns? And in my mind, what I like about Roman in this fight is he's got a lot of finishing abilities, right? I mean, a lot of finishes, has the ability to finish everywhere. Fluffy can get hit, especially early in fights. But what Fluffy does best is he takes the punishment and then he starts wearing you down, right? Because maybe you saw Edmund Shabazian hurt him, right? And really try to chase that finish. And Fluffy's not really a guy you're going to finish, especially early. He can kind of tough out those positions. He had been finished before with a body shot. We'll talk about that. But he's not really a guy that you can chase a finish on. The thing I like about Roman is he just kind of does his thing, man. He doesn't force anything. He's not wildly pressured. He lets the knockouts come to him, and you see that when he gets these second and third round knockouts. So when Fluffy is coming in and trying to overwhelm this guy, I think Roman's going to be fine as far as cardio goes and working through those positions and be methodical about it. He's not going to try and win the rounds back. And eventually, I think he's going to be able to find a shot to hurt Fluffy. But we just saw last week, if a grappler like Fluffy, which Fluffy submitted Adolfo, right? He had to kind of wait till Adolfo was tired, but he did submit Adolfo. We saw how dominant Adolfo is. If Fluffy is able to get into an advantageous position early in this fight, obviously he's going to be live. I think that's why he is the...
You said it wrong. You said advantageous.
No, I said advantageous.
You said advantageous position.
Did not.
And it's I mean, wearing that outfit, saying that incredibly wrong. No, I will not buy your insurance. No, thank you. Next house, please. Mrs. Johnson might need to buy it.
Can I tell you about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ?
Yeah, I'll laugh.
We're here for a minute.
He could get himself to an advantageous position.
Advantageous. If he gets himself to an advantageous position, I tell you what, man, this Fluffy possesses all the abilities in the world to submit a guy like Roman. But I believe Roman's going to keep it on the feet. I believe he's going to keep the distance, take his time, and eventually find this knockout shot, either to the body, because he's got some good body shots, and Fluffy's been hurt to the body before, or on the feet. But I'll be honest. You go to premium membership, I do have a bet on Roman Kopylov. I don't know if I love it anymore, because I think I want to root for Fluffy. He's a great guy. He's a tough dude. He's a fun dude to root for. Nothing against Kopylov, but I am going to pick Roman here. I think he can keep it on the feet, and he's much better on the feet. But, man, this dude Fluffy, man, he built a little dirt. He built a little dirt.
What?
He built a little dirt.
He put a little dirt?
He built a little dirt.
Oh, built a little different.
Yes, that's what I said.
Okay. Yeah, I did my breakdown. I'm on the Roman side. That the odds are crazy. It's a spoiler.
I think it's 50-50. I think it's a 50-50 fight.
To clash this time. I mean, you want to make Anthony the favorite. I get that. I personally tend to favor grapplers in the clash of the style matchups. Typically, if there's a gap, it's usually wider on the ground than the feet. So you want to make Anthony the favorite. Fine. The original odds were fine. The original odds made sense to me. Minus 150, plus 130. Those made sense to me. Minus 210, plus 180 don't make sense. I have a bet on Roman Kopylov at plus 180. You can check everything out. I mean, I already told you that.
And Fluffy, he doesn't have terrible takedowns, but a lot of his takedowns are dependent on somebody being tired. I don't know. Roman's he works hard. He's not a pussy either.
No, and he can take shots too. Like, it doesn't mean you're never going to have success on him striking because he's such a high-level striker. We've seen him take shots and then just
back
recover
shots
and come forward. What? Anyway, Roman's both of our pick here, $7,400 in DraftKings. I mean, that's a great price for a guy with that knockout ability that's been on that win streak doing what he's doing to people. And Anthony Hernandez, I don't know if it's his fault or what, but he has been pretty inactive lately. If you go to his Tapology, the amount of canceled fights is crazy. I don't know whose fault that all is, but we're both going to be on the Roman side. I do like that pricing for DraftKings. If you want to check out the bet that I just gave you for free and all the other bets, WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. Yes, Jacob.
I'm pretty sure that Kopylov signed up to fight Fluffy in the fall as well on short notice when they had a fight.
They were supposed to fight.
So that tells you that Roman is comfortable. This is not a one-time thing. He's comfortable with this matchup.
Yeah, he agreed to it more than once. Good
right.
point. We do have a $10 super chat from Shevsky. He said, I botched the word debut. Was worse than the way Jacob said advantageous. Cool, Shevsky. I'm going to see if I can refund this. Nobody wants that shit.
What the fuck?
Now, you don't come here correcting how I say things. That's not how this works.
Thanks for the 10 spot, Sheffy.
He's getting
it. Sheffy. Join the Discord, by the way. Sheffy's a regular in Discord. Completely free. In the description below.
It is free. It is in the description. There was a couple people in the live chat. Can you send me the link? It's in the description of this and every other video.
Debut. Oh, they're spamming it now. They're letting you have it now.
Or if you go to the...
Like the stream if you haven't liked the stream. Please, for the love of God, that's all we need right now.
We have
more than your prayers. More than Angelo needs your prayers. He needs your likes.
We have 600 live viewers now across all of our platforms.
I'm just kidding. He actually needs your prayers. Actually, I just kidding. Don't... If you have to make one or the other, please pray. Please pray for him and his heart and everything else going on.
Okay. All right. We just fought, and I didn't get tired, not even a little bit. You needed more time between the rounds. We didn't even do a third grappling round because you couldn't handle it. I don't want to hear the Angelo's out of shape nonsense. I was very clearly to the point where you were looking at the other people in the gym being like, this is exhausting. And we were all like, yeah, idiot.
I had COVID.
You pick pieces of metal up and move them around in a rubber
nose.
Room.
And look how quickly I healed, too.
Well, it's red. It all just blends in. Can you let us know what filter you used in the last clip of the fight video? You definitely had a filter.
It's not a filter, man. These are just bright white lights and it's dark out. You give me some good light, I'm fucking David Hasselhoff.
You didn't even do it at your computer. You did it from your phone, so stop lying.
I know. I said if you get me in natural light, I'm fucking, these blue eyes start gleaming and the girl's panties start dropping.
If you guys watch the end of the fight, the clip of just Jacob thanking me for not murdering him, and I want you to say either in the Discord or in this live chat if you've seen it, if you think he had a filter on when he filmed that. Because my neighbor did. My neighbor said, what filter does he have on? Why does he look like that? And then I looked and I'm like,
Why are people so surprised that I'm good looking?
Yeah, look at the smile. Yeah, it wasn't a good looking filter. It was obviously to hide something. It was not a good filter. It wasn't.
What do I have to hide? Look at me. The fuck?
I mean, you do have incredible hair. That's why I don't know why you're wearing the hat. That makes no sense. I know why I wear a hat. I don't know why you're wearing a hat.
Because
Here we go.
It's fucking called marketing, Angelo. That's
Here
what Merab does. Speaking of.
Merab got a hair transplant.
I'm talking about him marketing and doing his videos, man. I made a good transition.
Is this
real
picture
self-centered?
This picture is pre-hair transplant.
Yeah, it's a comb front.
Yeah,
that's a comb. That's not a comb over. That's a comb front with the bangs there. Well, stiff wind, and that buddy is fucking done.
I'm looking forward to. I mean, look at Cejudo's hair.
His hair looks great now, though. I mean, Merab's hair does. I mean,
sure it does, great. Dude. Those hair transplants are incredible.
Yeah, Cejudo does have a great hairline.
Look at that. Anyway,
man, imagine Cejudo in braids.
Next up at UFC 298, we do have a battle of the grapplers. We have Merab Dvalishvili taking on Henry Cejudo. Merab Dvalishvili is 16-4 overall. He is 5-0 in his last 5, riding a 10-fight win streak. He's taking on Henry Cejudo, 16-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5, and he is coming off that controversial split decision loss to Aljamain Sterling. This is a battle of the grapplers. Merab Dvalishvili is a very good grappler who has insane conditioning. This guy will non-stop chain wrestle the full 15 minutes and not even breathe heavy. His striking is pretty good as well. He's going to time those takedowns incredibly well. And even if he doesn't, it doesn't matter. There's another shot right behind it. He averages 6.5 takedowns per 15 minutes. His last loss was all the way in 2018, where he still took down Ricky Simone 6 times. Gas tank is insane. Willingness to stick to a wet blanket game plan is insane. The UFC is not a huge fan of his, but that's why they made this matchup. He is coming off the decision win over Piotr Jan, where he had 11 takedowns. Same logic with the Fluffy Hernandez background or breakdown. For Merab to get 11 takedowns means he can't hold people down. But it doesn't even matter because he's always wrapped around your waist, your leg, or so. You are never, once that bell rings, you have the first 5 seconds. You have the first 5 seconds.
Was that an eye roll I just saw?
It was. You have the first 5 seconds before he starts wrapping his arms around. How you could still talk like this after what happened to you was insane. Anyway.
I mean, I hung in there.
Sure. And I was going full force. He's taking on...
At least he finally admitted it.
Henry Cejudo, former Olympic gold medalist Henry Cejudo, former 2-division UFC world champion Henry Cejudo. But he did retire right in the middle of his title reign in 2020. And a lot of people thought it was a negotiation ploy. A lot of people were like, yeah, he's fake retiring. He's going to hold out for more money. And whether it was or wasn't, he still gave up the best years of his career. While he is an Olympic gold medalist wrestler, his takedown accuracy is only 34%. And he does have some very good striking. He's got a positive striking differential. He will mix it up on the feet before working in some shots. And he is coming off of the insanely close loss to Aljamain Sterling, where a lot of people, myself included, think he won.
Me as well.
In my twisted universe, where I think Henry Cejudo won that fight, then he became the champion, right? He was the 2-division champ, left the sport, came back a few years later, took back one of his belts, beat Sean O'Malley. And in my mind, Henry Cejudo is the champion. But that's not the reality. He did lose that fight.
What the fuck did you just say?
I was just saying that in my...
convoluted bullshit was that?
It was basically just me living in a fantasy world where Henry Cejudo came back, beat Aljamain, which I do think he won that fight. And then he would definitely beat Sean O'Malley. That's the easiest fight at this weight class for Henry Cejudo.
Dude,
but unfortunately, that's not what happened.
Little twerp.
Okay. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's not what happened. And unfortunately, Henry Cejudo is going to lose this fight as well. I just don't. If Aljamain Sterling and his mid-level takedowns took him down 4 times, yes, he defended 11 of them. But if he took him down 4 times, Merab is just going to non-stop dive at Henry's legs. Just non-stop. And it might even look like the Jose Aldo fight, where Henry's going to defend a ton of them and be against the cage and stay standing. And Jose didn't get that decision. So I just don't know how Henry's going to win this fight if he doesn't knock Merab out. And he did knock out Dominic Cruz, so that is possible. But I don't see it happening. I think Merab's going to win. The odds make sense. The widening of the odds makes sense. It just hurts my heart because I'm a giant Henry Cejudo fan, and I have been long before he was in the UFC. I had his book when he won the Olympics, like big Henry Cejudo guy, but I don't see him winning this fight. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, I just don't. It's crazy. A 16-3 former double champion, and he's only 37. It's not like he's like in his 40s. Obviously, that's a little bit older, but it's not like he's crazy old. But I just don't think he's got it anymore. I just don't. I think that was his last kind of hurrah against Aljo, and even in that fight, I know that I thought he won that fight as well, right? I thought he won that fifth round and was able to win that fight. It was a close fight, but even in that fight, you didn't see the same Henry, right? Yeah. I think the Henry of old, honestly, might have smoked a guy like Aljo, who has some lack of abilities in the striking, doesn't have really good takedowns, right? I mean, that should have been a fight for Henry Cejudo. If that was the old Henry Cejudo, he honestly probably should have smoked Aljo. It was close. He ended up losing that fight, and now coming back against Merab, he's already talking, if I lose, I'm probably going to retire again. He's doing a lot of stuff on the side, right? All the YouTube stuff, all the whatever. He's on the embedded, fake firing his coach for content and stuff. I think, I don't think he's all in on kind of winning this fight, where I know for a fucking fact Merab is. I know that he's got the skits and stuff too, but this dude is one of those guys that's built different. I don't know if you saw the video come out this week. I don't know if it came out this week or the last few days of his toe. Have you seen that?
No.
He has a dislocated toe, or it's an old video, right? It's not new, but his whole, like, one of his ring finger toes is off the toe and built up, and you see the bone, and it's the rest of the toe is flipped on top of the whatever, and he's filming it, looking at it, and just thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. This dude Merab is built fucking different. We've already seen that you can't really even knock the guy out because he'll work through those positions. I think he's going to be all over Henry. As you mentioned, Aljo got a couple takedowns, and Aljo's takedowns are no bueno, I would say, and Merab is he just never stops, man. And so, if Henry, if I'm him, I'm just lining up some knees, trying to connect with one, see what happens. But I think Merab's going to be all over him. I think this might end up being the better value on the card.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's unfortunate. I do really like Henry Cejudo. And somebody just said, Lion Man said Henry Cejudo is very unlikable. I disagree. Obviously, he plays a little bit of a character, the whole triple C cringy thing. But he obviously needed to. Demetrius Johnson was the nicest guy on planet Earth, and nobody cared. Like, nobody cared. Now he's finally starting to get some credit, but it's only because Joe Rogan talks about it all the time, and, he's had success in multiple organizations. But unfortunately, especially for people who aren't a fan of, like, the cringe type stuff, being like a nice, normal, logical human being doesn't really build you a fan base in the UFC. So I agree, Henry's character, the Triple C character, isn't great, but Henry Cejudo's YouTube video breakdowns of, like, fights that already happened are some of the most...
He's a very smart dude, and he's a great dude, too. You can tell it's just people that know him genuinely like him and enjoy him and stuff. And even when he talks to opponents, you can tell a little smirk and stuff. He never gets, like, real mean about stuff, and it's just like,
No, and he understands this sport. He's a phenomenal coach. He'll be a much better coach.
Well...
What?
I think last year everyone that he's been under. I think Figgy's the only person that's ever won. People go to his camp, and
the problem is people go to his camp as like a final stop on their like tour. Like, you need to spend time with him and actually be built up at his gym. Like,
Mackenzie went to his to work on her takedowns, and
and then she left. She was there for like a week. It's like what Hamzat does. Goes to every gym for 30 seconds, or people train with him for 30 seconds. Like, he's training with Hamzat for his takedowns. And it's the same type thing. Like, the people who spend some real time in his gym can have success. The people who pop in for a week.
Gary, who's been at Shoot the Box.
Like, people who stop in for a week, it's not how it works. Anyway, Jacob and I both on the same side. I think we're both extremely confident in Merab. I just hate that I'm confident in Merab. $8,600 in DraftKings Fantasy. That is going to be worth the price. Because, frankly, I mean, the amount of takedowns, control time, all that stuff. He had 11 takedowns against Jan Piotr Jan. So, 5 points to takedown, that's worth it. Are you actually going to say something, or that's just...
No, I'm literally trying to say it.
Because I paused the 8 times. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say in 3 rounds, I think Merab's really going to put the pressure on. You don't have to worry about shit in 3 rounds.
I completely agree. So we're both all over Merab. I want him to win. Well, no, I don't want him to win, but I'm almost positive he will. And a couple people have continued to comment this, just so everybody is clear, and I'm sure you'll see this after this video anyway. The Henry firing his coach thing was fake. He didn't actually fire his coach. It was just like something stupid he did. He thought he was funny, and he admitted it was a joke after the fact. Which makes sense because it was like way too casual to fire your closest friend and coach. Anyway, if you want to unlock all the picks, the bets, I do have a bet on this fight. The round line leans, the tools, the DraftKings optimizer, and so much more. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click become a member at the top. It is only $10 a month. Next up at UFC 298, we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Jeff Neal taking on Ian Machado Gary. Jeff Neal, 15-5 overall, 2-3 in his last 5. He is coming off his third round loss to Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's taking on the undefeated Ian Gary at 13-0, who is looking for his 7th UFC win, which actually, when I wrote that out, I was surprised. It seems like he's got a couple of fights in the UFC. 6 fights in the UFC is actually, I mean, he's a tenured UFC guy at this point. But this is another interesting fight because a lot of people are on the Jeff Neal side, including our very own website or web guy Josh. A lot of people feel that Ian Gary's a bit chinny and Jeff Neal is that guy. I do think a lot of that comes from you either hate Ian Gary or you just watch Jeff Neal actually put up a decent fight against Shavkat and you're like...
Shavkat.
You just watched him put up a decent fight against Rakhmonov and you're like, wow, this guy is good. If he could fight that hard against Rakhmonov, he can beat Ian Gary. And I get that.
Sucks.
And I get that logic, but I do think styles make fights, and that was just Shavkat's. I think we've learned his takedowns. His takedowns are atrocious. I think we've learned that. And he finished him. Like Jeff Neal got finished. It's not like it was a close. Like he got finished. Anyway, Jeff Neal is a good striker. He's got very real power, good volume, solid takedown defense. Not a super technical guy, but the power, the aggression, it makes up for all of those gaps. Jeff does like to dictate the pace, the range, the exchanges. If he can stay at kickboxing range and use his kicks to set up his punches, he can have a ton of success. But if you stay in Jeff's face and you push the pace, he does not like backing up. And as I mentioned, he's coming off that third round finish loss. What?
Damn, man. I thought he was at shoot the box. I didn't know he's in fucking Russia running fucking training camps and shit. Ian Gary.
He's been kicked out of so many gyms.
Ian Gary.
Those are all the rumors, is that he's just a trash training partner.
You don't even know what I'm talking about. How pathetic.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, that is pathetic.
You got the Russian flag for him.
Oh. Whoops.
Ian Gary.
I also, people are going to hate this. I forgot the decimal point with his takedown average as well. It's 0.67. People are like, 67 takedowns. Anyway. He's, Jeff Neal's fighting Ian Gary. Ian Gary, very good striker, very accurate, good hand speed, fantastic footwork, plenty of knockouts. And they're not like big one punch, like super powerful Jeff Neal type knockouts, but it's the speed, it's the timing, it's the accuracy that is catching people off guard. He just absolutely destroyed Neil Magny's legs. Like I've never seen, props to Neil for being able to stand. Like he destroyed Neil Magny's legs. But Ian Gary's a good technical striker, decent takedown defense, good cage awareness. We do know he can survive as well. We watched Song Kanan absolutely drop this dude, almost have him down and out, but decided to grapple and gave that up. And if this fight was back at UFC 296, when Ian was supposed to fight Vicente Luque, but then he got sick, I would be feeling very different because if you remember going into that week, it came out that Ian and his wife live with her wife's ex-husband, who is also Ian's like strength and conditioning coach. And everybody started calling him a cuck, and it went wild, and then Sean Strickland turned it into a thing. And he was dealing with like a wild frenzy of internet hate and chaos.
And speaking of that, that's like one of the most aggressive. Before I even knew what the definition was, when I heard people saying cuck, I was like, that sounds extremely racist in some way. I mean, that's a strong fucking word for what it means. Yeah, for what it means, you know, because it really, I mean, Like, if you call somebody a cuck, it's like, whoa.
I mean, and if anybody doesn't know what it means, it just means you watch somebody else have sex with your wife.
Is it necessarily sex, or is it just you like when somebody like dominates your wife? Just
I don't know. Anyway, if it was that weak and he was fighting somebody as dangerous as Jeff Neal, yeah, you lose focus for a half a second, Jeff Neal will find your chin and you will have problems. But it's not that weak. He seemed to have gotten over that hump. I haven't seen any of the cuck talk outside of a couple random comments here and there. So I think he is focused. I think he is good. And a focused Ian Gary, even though he is chinny, a focused Ian Gary can out-technique Jeff Neal. And I think Ian Gary will win this fight. I think he will out-technique Jeff Neal. But he does need to be careful, because if Jeff Neal lands the same punch that Song Kanan lands, Jeff Neal's not going to be a moron about it and look to take him down. He's going to keep swinging and get Ian Gary out of there. So Ian Gary is the pick, but I have scared myself fully away from this. I don't have any bets on this fight. Although, oh no, I do have a bet on this fight. And it's not on Ian Gary. You can check that out, WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. Jakey boy, what do you think?
Guys, I get it, right? I get it. You know, you see Ian Gary, you hear the antics, you see the stuff with the wife, you see everybody piling on, and everyone hates Ian Gary now, and he's acting like an asshole, and you hear about him getting kicked out of the gyms, and you want to, on a personal level, you don't like Ian Gary. I get it, guys. Trust me. I get it. I was a big Ian Gary fan, not only for his fighting style, but his personality as well. I thought he was kind of a funny dude. He sent pizza to D-Rod's fucking hotel room when he's cutting weight and stuff. I thought that he does some pretty clever stuff, honestly. And then this whole stuff come out, and the way that he kind of reacted to it, it kind of is a little bit off-putting. But listen, he does what he wants to do. If he's happy, he's happy. I don't really give a fuck about all that. The reason I bring all this up is a lot of people are going to get burned this week because they don't like Ian Gary as a person. Guys, he's the better fighter. He is the better fighter. He's the better fighter. He is just the better fighter in this matchup. And if you're just putting all your hopes and dreams that Jeff Neal is going to get a knockout, I pray to God that you've bet on Jeff Neal in every single fight leading up to this, because he's always going to be live for a knockout. But you can't just bet people hoping that they can land on the chin. Then you're going to say, oh, Ian Gary's chinny. He's got hit before. He got hit one time. He's not getting knocked down every single fight. The guy fights so clean because he doesn't chase knockouts. He doesn't chase finishes. Just like I got done talking about Kopylov, he lets things come to him, and he's a smart fucking dude, man. You can tell he's a smart fucking dude. When he got knocked out by Song, by the way, I saw it live. I was at 285 where I met Amanda Hebos. Amanda Hebos, happy Valentine's Day. Oh, I thought I knocked over my drink. Happy Valentine's Day. I made her flowers. When I was there, you heard him talk about the second he got dropped. He went to his corner and said, hey, I know what I did. I made the mistake. It won't happen again. He will stick to game plans. If something's working, like with the leg kicks, he will just fucking stick with it. He doesn't give a fuck. He can dance around. He keeps range really well, and he's really, really good, guys. I know you guys fucking hate him, and you want to bet against him, and I get it, but I would just be... Ian Gary's the better fighter, man. He's just the better fighter. He's the better fighter, and he's going to win this fight.
I agree on all of that, and if you want to see the bet that I have, you're going to have to check it out. People are like, he bet Jeff Neal to win. You got to check out the bet. It's not that cut and dry. I agree with every single thing you said. Ian Gary is the better, more accurate striker. He is hittable. I've been saying he's hittable since his UFC debut. He was blasted in that fight as well, and Jeff Neal hits very hard. Those are easy conclusions to draw, but like 5 other breakdowns on this card, it's hard for me to pick a guy where I'm just relying on a one-punch knockout. That's the only way Jeff Neal wins this fight is a one-punch knockout. He's not going to outpoint him. He's not going to out-wrestle him. Not going to out-grab him. So one-punch knockout or Jeff can't win. Can Jeff survive? Absolutely. I think this is a sneaky decision type fight, and Ian's going to do what he does, which is dance around. Ian's not finishing everybody. It's not like he's a killer.
He's very comfortable. If I know I'm controlling range and I'm controlling the exchanges, and he's very aware, and his corner's very aware that he's got the Lima brothers with him. He was at Shoot a Box for this camp with Charles Oliveira and the Lima brothers, and he's very aware. Like you said, he'll do that for 3 rounds. He doesn't give a fuck. If he knows he's winning the fight doing it, then he'll just fucking dance around, and I could see that happening.
He doesn't take chances he doesn't need to take. And Jeff Neal's a pretty tough guy. So I do think this is a longer fight. I don't think, and if it's not a longer fight, it's because Jeff Neal connected. If I had to pick who would win by finish, one of these guys has to win by finish, I'd go Jeff Neal all day over Ian Gary. Obviously, he can finish. He finished D-Rod with a beautiful head kick, but that was almost it. Even the Song Kanan finish was wild. I think Song just had an adrenaline dump after almost getting that finish early in the first.
Ian just started dismantling. I mean, he's not a great level talent. I mean, striking guy anyway, but he dismantles a lot of fucking people. He's good, man.
No, he's very good.
He's the second best 170 on the planet behind Jack Della Maddalena, who everyone wants to talk about Shavkat and all these fucking bullshit. Jack Della Maddalena is the best prospect at 170. Argue me. I don't give a fuck.
Okay. Anyway, if you want to... DraftKings Fantasy, $9,100. I do not think Ian Gary is worth that price point. Because there's not going to be any grappling at all on his end, and I don't think he knocks out Jeff Neal. So then we have a decision with a whole bunch of significant strikes. Not hundreds, but probably 70. And that's just not going to score that well in DraftKings. So I don't think he's going to be worth that price. What do you think?
Yeah, the question you're basically deciding between is he's 91. I think Miranda Maverick was 89. So it's kind of like the same price point there. Who would you rather have, Ian Gary or Miranda?
If I have to choose between him and Miranda, at least, just DraftKings leans so heavily towards grappling. You get 5 points for a takedown. You get control time points.
I think you might save $200 and go with Miranda instead of Ian if that's your decision you're trying to make.
Yeah, if you have to choose between the two, or you spend a little more, you go Rinya Nakamura and then save money on some of the other underdogs we talked about earlier. But yeah, we'll talk about that in the DraftKings video on Friday. But in the meantime, you could become a premium member. You could unlock the DraftKings tools, the insight, the information, the bets, the picks, round 9 leans, and more. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top.
Like the stream if you haven't liked the stream. We're rolling, baby. Yeah.
Okay. Next up. At UFC 298, we have Robert Whittaker taking on, you did that hard for Paulo, taking on Paulo Costa. Robert Whittaker, 24-7 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He is coming off that pretty bad loss to Dricus du Plessis. He's taking on Paulo Costa, 14-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off the insanely sloppy win over Luke Rockhold. Literally sloppy. They were slobbing all over each other, bleeding on each other, kissing, rubbing.
Elevation.
Yeah, but they were also like leaning into the whole like blood brothers. We got Robert.
You had
Whittaker.
some of your blood on my face too. Have you been? Have you been tested?
You mean your blood on mine?
That's what I said. You've had some of my blood on your face. What did I say the other way around?
Yeah.
We
got Robert Whittaker.
You might want to get tested.
Robert Whittaker, former middleweight champion of the world. One of the most well-rounded guys in this weight class. Very good striker, very solid volume, very good takedowns, constantly mixing up striking and movement patterns. He's going to lay out heavy leg kicks, then immediately charge forward, chase the head. His only losses since 2014 are to Israel Adesanya, when he was champion, and Dricus du Plessis, who is now the champion. He has 12 takedowns in the last 6 fights, and that really just shows you how well-rounded this guy is. He is coming off that surprising loss to Dricus du Plessis, where he was finished in the second round, and it wasn't even, I was there in real life, and I had Robert Whittaker in the safety parlay, and what a mess that was, because it wasn't even like Robert was winning and then lost. He lost every second of that fight, and it was a long fight, meaning it was over a full round. So he was just, it didn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense. Yeah, I would still be positive if they fought tomorrow, Robert would win, and that's not how that went down.
Nothing makes sense about that.
And it wasn't a fluke. Maybe it was a fluke from a night perspective, but it wasn't a one-punch situation. Like, he beat his ass start to finish. And he's taking on Paulo Costa. He doesn't fight very often. In fact, he has more canceled fights than actual fights in the last 3 years. He has 5 canceled fights in the last 3 years and only 1 actual fight. But Paulo is a massive human being. He has a ton of power, a good amount of output, and a surprising amount of cardio for a guy that looks like he cuts 40 pounds to make this weight. When he fights, he is a ton of fun. He comes forward, heavy, fast punches, sets a relentless pace. He's landing 7 significant strikes per minute. That is almost double the average of this weight class. His takedown defense is almost 80%. And he might need it here because Robert does a really good job of mixing in takedowns. He is coming off of that brotherly love win over Luke Rockhold. I'm falling apart right now. Over Luke.
Why? What's wrong?
I don't know. I just can't speak.
You ready for that V-Day night, huh? You got the big plan after the...
You asked me earlier, and I said...
No, I'm talking about tonight, hitting that midnight.
Can you hear the dogs screaming?
Happy V-Day.
Okay. Can you hear the dogs screaming in the background?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because Tiffany just got home, so now they're going berserk.
Cool.
So, yeah, let's get this over. No. So, anyway... I think Robert Whittaker wins this fight. I think Robert Whittaker is all around the better fighter. And I think that's a hard point to dispute. We know he's a very good striker. We know he's a very good wrestler. We know he's got championship composure. He literally was the champion. He gave Izzy his toughest fight before Strickland actually beat him. Robert Whittaker is the better, more well-rounded fighter here. Robert Whittaker is the pick, but I fully understand the line tightening. I get it, dude. And I saw Paulo Costa's Instagram while he's cutting weight. He is fucking beautiful. Huge, dude. He is good looking. He is huge, man.
He's my phone. He's my phone screensaver.
He is so big, dude. And Robert was just bullied, literally bullied by Dricus. And if Paulo doesn't have any ring rust, and if Paulo shows up looking like he did when he fought Yoel Romero, he could bully Robert Whittaker. But I don't think that happens. I do think Robert Whittaker wins this fight. I think the footwork, the elusiveness, the amount of fights he's had over the last couple of years, I think all of that works in Robert's favor. I understand the line tightening. It could probably even tighten a little more. But Robert Whittaker is going to be the pick, and I'm just leaning on all the experience and everything and just hope that his chin doesn't get touched. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Robert is the better fighter, right? I agree with you there. Robert... Damn it, man. He should have beat DDP. I don't understand how he did. Nothing about that makes sense. I was so high on Robert. I was such a DDP hater. I was like, this sloppy buffoon is going to come in and blitz in against Robert Whittaker and get just fucking put out. And what happened? He got taken down, elbowed in the face, and then knocked out in the second round. Here is the comparison that I'm going to make. And it's a weird comparison. It's a very kind of niche comparison that a lot of people aren't going to remember or whatever. But I see this as the Nathaniel Wood-Naimov fight. We came into that fight, and or at least I agree, Nathaniel Wood is the better fighter. Nathaniel Wood was a better fighter. I mean, Robert Whittaker is a better fighter. But we approached that fight, or I broke down that fight. It's really hard to trust the chin of Nathaniel Wood because he has been clipped. He has been put down in the past. And we've seen Robert Whittaker, even when he's not getting put out and losing the fights, which he has been knocked out and lost fights, he's still kind of getting clipped. So that chin is already kind of hard to trust. But then, as you mentioned, he kind of was bullied a little bit in the wrestling and the grappling against DDP because I think DDP was kind of that bigger, stronger guy. Just like Naimov was not maybe the more technical guy, but sometimes, even though you're the more technical guy, you'll fight a bigger guy, Angelo, and they just kind of use their weight, and that's the way that they can get you down and can control you. And that's what Naimov was doing to Nathaniel Wood. He was just kind of outmanning him in those positions. He knocked him down and was just kind of being more physical with him in those type of positions. I think Paulo could do the same thing here. I think he can test the chin because Robert isn't really a dangerous guy. He wants to fight that karate style and in and out. And yeah, he can knock out people because he's a big dude himself. It's 185 pounds, but he's not really a knockout guy. So Paulo is probably going to be the one pushing the pressure. I think he could be able to find that shot. And if he wants to mix in some wrestling, some grappling, Paulo's a really good underrated grappler. You saw Yoel, right? We talked about Henry Cejudo, Olympic champion. Yoel, a silver medalist, took money to be a silver medalist, should have just won gold in the Olympics as well. Couldn't even take, and that's the one time that Yoel was actually trying to wrestle at times, and Paulo was defending the takedowns. Here's what I love the most about this for Paulo, is Robert Whittaker has talked this week, I'm coming in for the kill. Now, everyone says that, right? When you get in there, I'm sure he's going to still do the karate stuff, but if he's coming in with a little bit more of an edge, a little bit more of a bravado of trying to get this fight done and finish and make a statement, I'm going to finish Paulo Costa, I like that for Paulo. For Robert Whittaker to be a big favorite in this fight that he is, minus 200, I think he does need to just dance around and do what Vettori did and do all this stuff and not get into these car crash situations. Because if he gets in these car crash situations, that's where Paulo excels. Every single time he's been able to get in a brawl, he wins, right? He couldn't really brawl Izzy, right? Izzy's kind of point fighting, he sniped him from the outside. Vettori's got a fucking cinder block head, so you can't really do anything with Vettori. But when he can brawl people, he fucking hurts people, and I think he can hurt Robert Whittaker. I'm a big Robert Whittaker guy. But I just don't think I don't think he's that guy anymore, man. I think Paulo can get in there and find a shot, or maybe even just fucking wrestle. I mean, Paulo's a fucking dog, dude. He's a fucking dog. For as big as he is, he doesn't really get tired. And even if he gets tired, he doesn't fucking stop, man. He's a fucking dog.
I completely agree. The problem, you're not worried about the inactivity?
No. I mean, and he said it himself, too. I've been through 2 full training camps, and then the fights dropped and stuff. So it's not like he's been with injuries and messing around. I mean, you can tell the guy fucking works hard. I mean, he's a fucking... I don't think with his fighting style and stuff, it's not like he needs to be technical. He just needs to get in the pocket and throw some shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a quitter. As long as he doesn't gas. And obviously, the fight with Luke Rockhold was at elevation, but that was a mess. That version of him doesn't beat Robert Whittaker.
Yeah, it was a sloppy fight. I mean, they were tired, and he's just winging shots.
Like, winging him, dude. Like, that version of him is nowhere near beating Robert Whittaker. But, yeah, it could be the elevation there. But, I mean, you're going to get some good odds on Paulo Costa here, plus 190, 2-1 underdog odds, $7,200 in DraftKings. He's probably the better DraftKings play than Robert Whittaker is. Robert Whittaker does not score well. He's not a finisher. He's just so good because he's so technical and he's so well-rounded.
He's so good, man.
He's not a finisher.
Yeah, I don't want to act like I'm trying to like throw shade because I fucking love Robert Whittaker, man. He was my fucking dude. I literally, damn it, man. I got my whole thing. And it's been working out. Angelo, 2024 is put biases aside, reassess fights, right? And that's what I'm trying to do. I've had success so far. I'm going Paulo.
No, I am on the Whittaker side, and I agree with these odds. Right, I think Whittaker should be the 2-1 favorite here. It makes sense based on his activity, based on everything he's accomplished, based on his skill sets. But he was just bullied and beaten up. The only reason I'm not worried about that, like I was when we broke down Amanda Lemos, what's she going to look like after that fight? Robert Whittaker seems mentally like he moves on. He moves past it. I lost it is what it is. He moves past it.
There's some quotes out there about him saying he lost the passion for combat sports and retiring and all this stuff. And
well, I'm on the Whittaker side. You're on the Costa side. But I will say Robert Whittaker in DraftKings at $9,000 does not make sense. He historically does not score very well because he's sort of a point fighter that doesn't finish. Very technical, puts on a masterclass, but doesn't finish. If you want to check out all the picks, the bets, the round line leans, and more, I do have a bet on this fight. You can get that at WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10 a month. You're not only going to get the bets, the picks, round line leans, but you're also going to get, we have an AI that picks fights based solely off of data and is doing it at an incredible accuracy. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top.
And this guy, I mean, he signed up to fight Chimaev when nobody else would. I mean, he's not a pussy.
But he didn't fight him, though, did he?
I mean, he literally tried, even with staph infection on his arm. He didn't get medically cleared, so he's not a pussy.
Well.
Uh-oh. Hold on.
Yeah, dude, cover it. How disgusting. Cover it.
I live alone. What am I covering? There's a wall right here. It's not a fucking family having dinner.
If I live alone, I wouldn't want my own snot all over the wall.
I have an air purifier, right?
But I don't live alone because I'm not a fucking red dork.
Say bless you, man. You're not even going to fucking bless me or shit?
Don't gingers have no soul? What exactly am I blessing?
I'm ordained. I'll bless my soul. Bless you. Thank you.
Next up, at UFC 298, we have the main event of the evening. We have Alexander Volkanovski taking on Ilya Topuria. Controversial fight. I don't know why you muted us. Controversial fight. He just passed some gas. No, controversial fight.
I was about to sneeze. I was trying to be polite.
Oh, thank you so much. Where a lot of people are 100% positive on their side, right? A lot of people saying Volk is going to win, no questions asked, former champion. Ilya is going to win, most dangerous guy, Volk is old, Volk is washed, period, end of story. And I love those fights. That's exactly, the energy coming into this fight is the exact same energy we had going into the Strickland Duplessis fight. Same exact energy.
Yuri and Alex.
Everybody was dead short. We do get some fights. That's not always the norm. We do get some fights where people are, could. This one, everybody who has an opinion is dead positive in their lane. And that's what makes these so exciting. We have Alexander Volkanovski, the most decorated featherweight champion of all time, surpassed Jose Aldo in every meaningful statistic for the most part. defending his belt against the undefeated, most dangerous guy in this division as of right now. Alexander Volkanovski, 26-3 overall. He is 3-2 in his last 5, but those only 2 losses were at 155 pounds against Islam when he's trying to be the champ. He's taking on Elliott Topuria. Elliott Topuria, undefeated, 14-0.
Notable wins.
12 stoppage wins. We'll get to his record in a second. You're not going to enjoy it. Alexander Volkanovski, one of the most well-rounded guys on the planet, in the conversation for best pound-for-pound fighters. And the way he just lost to Islam Makhachev twice is the reason people argue pound for pound. Because clearly size is an issue in that fight. So Volkanovski could be the better fighter, but size was an issue. So now you remove size and go skill for skill. That's what pound for pound is. And once size is not a factor and you just take Volkanovski's actual raw skills, could quite literally be the best fighter in the UFC. He's destroyed every single featherweight they have ever put in front of him. He has been the division champ for an insanely long time. In the first fight with Islam, he showed us how good his wrestling is. He showed us he could hang. Second fight, he said he was drinking every night, literally rolled off the couch a week's notice. Obviously didn't go his way. But he has insane cardio, insane grappling, insane striking, good takedowns, high fight IQ, and building a ridiculous legacy. His volume is 6 significant strikes per minute. He averages almost 2 takedowns per 15 minutes, and just shows how well-rounded he is. My big concern, though, is that loss to Islam, the second loss to Islam, was only 3 months ago. That's not that long ago, considering how hard he was hit. He's taking on Elliott Topuria. I am a massive Elliott Topuria fan. I've picked him to win every single fight he's been in. And he has won every single fight he's been in. Incredibly well-rounded as well. Very dangerous, probably the most dangerous guy in this division, at least for now. And you might look at his record, you're going to see half of his wins are knockouts, and assume, oh, this guy's a striker. But he's not just a striker. He's a very, very good wrestler as well. He averages more than 2 takedowns per fight. And what's so impressive is he doesn't have a game plan. He just goes out there. Wherever the fight goes, he goes. He's coming off of the beating, the absolute beating over Josh Emmett. I'm going to read off a couple of stats here because there's a lot of statistics floating around, all around Alexander Volkanovski, and just trying to minimize what he could potentially do at this age. One of them is saying that in all weight classes under middleweight in the history of the UFC, only one single person has ever defended their belt over the age of 35 in the history of UFC, and that was Tyron Woodley. But I saw another statistic that said the history of the featherweight division, the younger fighter has won 15 times. The older fighter won 6. So 15-6 in title fights, the younger fighter. And of those 6 wins by the old man, 5 of them were Alexander Volkanovski. So he's sort of been defying those odds for a while. So let's say we don't think age matters, because he hasn't really shown us that age is a thing. He hasn't slowed down. Where did we see him in a fight where he looked a little slow? We haven't seen any of that. These are just stats people are throwing at the wall. Obviously, he was knocked out by Islam, but that was short notice, and he didn't look slow.
Do you throw your spaghetti against the wall?
To know if it's done? No, I just eat it. And then I'll know if it's done or not. Now, if we go look at Elliott Topuria, we know how insanely dangerous this guy is. But let's go through his record. His first 2 UFC opponents have losing UFC records. Losing records. Not good UFC fighters. I don't even know if they're on the roster anymore.
Yeah, be careful.
Then he beat an insanely one-dimensional grappler in Ryan Hall. Destroyed him. Then he was dropped by Jai Herbert. Dropped. Almost put out. Yes, up in weight, but dropped. Just like Alexander was dropped. Up in weight. Then he beat another very one-dimensional grappler in Bryce Mitchell. And then he just beat a 40-year-old man who is knockout or bust. And I'm not saying this to minimize Elliott's record, even though that's exactly what I just did, because Elliott did do everything he was supposed to do. They gave him these people, and he beat the absolute shit out of them. None of those fights were close. Beat the shit out of every single one of those people. But Alexander Volkanovski is built different. And until I see him slow down, until I see him look old, until I see that stuff, I got to pick him to win. He lost to Islam. Well, that's a weight class up. And if these weight classes are truly the best fighter in the world at that weight, you're supposed to go up in weight and lose. That's why there's weight classes. That's how this is supposed to work. So I got to go Volkanovski here. He's going to be the pick. I think minus 135 makes sense, but I am not going to bet on this. I just want to enjoy it. I don't want to have a dog in a fight. This could be an all-time title fight here. What do you think, Jakey boy?
What's it called when somebody goes up fucking 12 weight classes and takes a fight and hangs in there and is tough and people think he actually might have won that fight? What's that called?
A dream?
Yeah, so either argument...
Hallucination?
It's enough. Either argument here, I completely understand. Right? You mentioned it. People are so sure one way or the other. Volk, he's a dominant champion. He hasn't missed a step. I mean, 6, 7, 8 months ago, he was just destroying Yair Rodriguez, right? And then he fights Islam a couple times, and it is what it is. He gets knocked out up in weight. He says he was drinking, but he is at 145 basically fucking unbeatable. Nobody has really even come close to beating him. I mean, obviously in moments, they've with the Brian Ortega and stuff like that, but you see what Volkanovski does to competition. So people are saying Volkanovski is going to destroy this guy. Another hype train coming in. This is the champ. This is the guy. I mean, nobody beats him. I get that argument. And then I look at the other side and people are like, have you seen Elliott, dude? The way not only is he's an underrated wrestler, an underrated grappler, but his boxing, the speed at which he throws, the power that he possesses at 145, the lights at power, the in-your-face style. He didn't even really get tired versus Josh Emmett, so he's got 5-round cardio. This is the new guy. This is the changing of the guard. Elliott is going to come in and smoke Volkanovski, the old guy who doesn't have any more come off. I get that argument too. So I'm sitting here like, what the fuck do I do in this matchup? Because I can see both sides. The thing that worries me the most about Elliott, if this fight was before Volk ever fought Islam, I think I'd be all over Elliott. Because Volk coming off all these fights against all these strikers, and Brian Ortega is a grappler, but he's really a striker at this point. All these strikers, and then fights Elliott. I think, oh my God, Elliott can mix in some takedowns, mix in some grappling, really good wrestler. Not only that, but with the boxing, he can easily box, level change, get Volk to the ground, hold him there, and that's how he can win the fight. I'd be very high on Topuria in this fight. The issue is, Volkanovski has had all that wrestling training preparing for all these Islam fights, and his takedown defense is very good, and when he gets taken down, he does not get held down. If Islam is not really holding this guy down, I promise you guys that Elliott Topuria is not holding this fucking guy down. Volk will get back to his feet, and that's only going to gas Elliott more and more, and people talk about the cardio of Elliott versus Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett's not a pressure fighter. Josh Emmett's going to wait. He's going to stay back. Elliott was controlling the pace of that whole fight. So anytime you're controlling the pace, you can do what you want to do. I say all of that to say this. I think I'm taking Elliott. I think I'm taking Elliott, man. It's just like on a hope and a prayer. I'm not fully in on this. And typically I give you a lot of shit, Angelo, for being a little bit wishy-washy and stuff. And make a pick, Angelo. Stick to it. Say... But this one, I'll be wishy-washy, man. I could see nothing in this fight at all would surprise me. Nothing. If Ilias knocks him out, wouldn't surprise me. If he wins the decision, wouldn't a little bit, but not really. If Volk finds a knockout, maybe second, third. The other thing this is the very last thing that I got shit on Twitter was I think this could look like the Joe Pyfer fight of last week, where Ilias looking like he's smoking.
I've seen a lot of those memes too.
Dominating the fight. Wow, I was the first one to say it. Dominating the fight for 2 rounds, and then the champ comes in and wins the next 3. But I'm going Elliott here, but I don't love it. He should be, I guess, the better boxer. He's got the power, and he's got the youth. So my official pick is Elliott, but I'm going to stay away from this and probably root for Volk, honestly.
Yeah, and I don't think it would look like the Joe Pyfer fight because Elliott is far more tested than Joe is. Far more. He's fought 5 full rounds. Like, he's fought some good people. Like, Bryce Mitchell was ranked. Like, Elliott earned this title shot. When I went through his record and shit on his record, that wasn't a slight to Elliott. That's just, I mean, he beat
the craziest part?
Two top 5 people, beat the absolute piss out of them. What else is this guy supposed to do? I didn't realize
Ryan Hall was top 5, but yeah, top 5 fighter.
No, wasn't him.
He was only I think he was like minus 180 versus Ryan Hall, which you look back on that now.
Minus 1,000. Yeah, right? He should be the Rinya Nakamura in that fight.
And I went in there and I was like, Ryan's going to win this fight, guys.
It was,
damn it, Ryan. Damn it.
Was that Ryan's last fight? No, he beat.
Ryan will be here at this card with Vera, so they might have a little run in. Ryan said he wants to run. He said he wants to run it back. Ryan, you don't want to do that, man. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
I mean, we're actually somehow split here, but this is going to be a great fight. Guys, I'm about to try to sell you our betting product for $10 a month. You don't need to bet on every single fight. You don't need to bet on this fight. Just enjoy it. What I do find is if you bet on too many fights or if you bet on fights that you love, you can ruin it for yourself. So if you're a giant, if you love, like I love
Boobies.
this fight. I'm not full Volkanovski camp, full Topuria camp. This is a phenomenal fight, and I love it. Great main event. I'm not betting on it because I just want to sit there and enjoy the fight and not be like, no, please, no, one more. None of that. Just enjoy the fight.
I think if there's value, I think it's probably on Volk. If this is this time last year, he's probably minus 200.
Well, you mentioned the Yair Rodriguez win. That was after he lost to Islam the first time.
Right,
he lost to Islam, came back, Yair. Didn't skip a beat.
That's what I'm saying. If this was after, if this was. I mean, he would be a minus 2. I mean, he might be a minus 250 versus Elliott after that Yair fight.
No, I completely agree. But the concerns are valid. He was knocked out bad. It wasn't like a slight.
Oh,
it wasn't like when Izzy was TKO'd standing against the cage against Pereira. Alexander Volkanovski was knocked out. 3 months later is like, that's not enough time. He's 30-something years old. 3 months is not enough time.
And the stat people keep throwing out is that Elliott has never in his career thrown a body kick or a head kick.
I don't think if people actually know that or they're just saying that shit.
No, a guy on Twitter said that he watched all of Elliott's fights and he came to that conclusion. So a lot of people.
So he just head hunts the whole time.
He doesn't throw body kick. He throws leg kicks, but no body kicks, no head kicks. Just boxing and leg kicks. That's
He's got insane power in Georgian wrestling, but I think Volk moving forward is going to get it done.
And that Spanish wine.
Anyway, $8,200 in DraftKings, $8,000 in DraftKings. Whoever wins this fight's going to score really well, so pick your side and pick that side wisely. We also ask that you become a premium member. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It's only $10 a month. And premium membership will get you all sorts of tools, insight, information, including the detailed data, metrics, and analytics. 38 columns of information to help you identify your spots. I use this specifically for prop bets. You very easily can see takedown defense, takedown offense, strikes landed, strikes absorbed. Right there, ready to go. You're going to get the line movement tracker, opening odds, current odds, win probability, and line movement for every single fighter on every single card. And you're going to get more than just me and the red, freckled, bloody-nosed turd. You're going to get the MMA Minute, 30,000 followers on TikTok. You're going to get Running Mouth MMA. There's 3 of them. You're going to get Artem, who breaks down far more than just UFC, and Pick Doctor, who developed Pick GPT, which is an AI that is picking fights at an absurdly high accuracy. All of this, so much more. WeWantPicks.com. Just click Become a Member. At the top, it's only $10 a month. And here are the socials. It costs you nothing to follow the socials. We would appreciate a couple of clicks here and there. Any last words for the people before we let them go, Jakey Bombelotes?
There's my Instagram. There's my Twitter. If you want to follow me, I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. And guys, hey, guys, this is your day, man. This is a special day. You got to make sure you do something good for your girl, man. If you're not going to give her something, you got to fucking really put it to her. I mean, I'm talking about let's focus up. Let's get morning. Let's get some calisthenics in the morning. Get the blood pumping, the blood pumping. Clear the pipes 2, 3, or 4 times. Get ready for the night and really lock in, guys. It's an important day. They're gonna remember if you're not putting it fucking down, man. You gotta really. I hope you've been practicing. You gotta really edge that shit. Get ready.
Is there a special salamander lady that you'll be with tomorrow, Jake?